Hey. They've missed a lot. It's been a lot with this group. And hell. Nice. Oh, they grow up so fast. And by the way, this is for Bryn and for the younger ones. You should always get a letter of recommendation at the end of every year from your boss. Even if you don't plan on, you just literally say, no, it's just for my work, like she said, work portfolio. Because you never know when you're just going to need to fucking leave for whatever reason, and then you have letters of recommendations that you could just drop. You just use the most recent ones. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, going from... I mean, you were in the... you... Yeah. It... Yeah. Welcome, Emmerich. She understands some of the pain. 4th grade's like the perfect age. They're, at least what I dealt with. It's if they're old enough to not be just absolutely wired all the time, and young enough. But they were also young enough to want to help and actually be involved with stuff. And it's like, no, I need my recess shots. I need you to not be. I can connect you with my. I can connect you with my my birth mom. She has her own college. Yeah, she mainly arts and baking. I don't fucking know. She's a bitch. Yeah. Well. Earn that money in time. Fine, I'll go. No one's talking. That's the game. Yeah, I wouldn't touch high school with a fucking 10-foot pole. It's just nowadays high schoolers. I mean, I remember when I was in high school, and now shit's gotten even crazier since then. Yeah. Yes, we know. You guys are young. We get it. It shows. All right? Calm down. That's because you hang out with younger kids. It happens. You could be 6 months older than them, and they're gonna call you old. Now he froze. Alright, ready to get this shit show on the road? Alright, here we go. Oh god, I gotta remember those elf voices. Very southern. Oh right. Well, we're back at it. Welcome.
Hi.
Glad everyone survived. A full roster tonight, so it should be fun. Perfect puzzle minds in the group right here, so hopefully we can get right on through it. And you know what? Just brutally know what? Tonight we're breezing through all the rest of the puzzles. I sat down today and finished all the other riddles, so we are good to go.
Oh yeah, we're gonna breeze right on through them, aren't we?
Just. Anyway.
I don't think I have enough alcohol here to do that right now.
I don't think you have enough alcohol in your house to do that right now. Anyway.
Man, I gotta go to work tomorrow. I can't drink that much.
It's alright. Once Amber comes back, he'll just bash his head through it. But anyway, before we get started, let's go ahead and recap a little bit of last session. Sorry, my Discord is yelling at me right now. And it's not actually you guys this time. Surprise. Alright.
Because you have us muted.
So, recapping a little bit of last session. You all... Richa, mainly, gained the perfect insight and inspiration. He wasn't even here for it, but gained everything needed to know and breezed through the end of that riddle of the death tree. You guys were able to take the 4 skeletons that needed to be interred in the ground, found the chest, opened it up, got the items out of it, a ring, some money, and an arm and a note. The arm given, gold given to Amrit for healing, ring given to Kaparin. Note delivered to the chest, and a riddle given out once again. You guys then headed northwards, dealing with some interesting foliage that resided inside the forest Now knowing why the moose was taking such a roundabout way of getting to the tree in the first place, but you guys were able to take a little bit more directive approach, with Nori now keeping an eye out after those vines definitely did a number on you all. But
I tried to follow, but I think I got like a 12 on my survival.
yeah,
So
things happen. It's
Oh,
been
well.
some time. A lot of mental strain had happened at the tree, so it's understandable. But you got back to the North Shore, and a raft was built. Racha, you now have your tools back. I put them into your inventory for you. And as the raft was built and everyone on top, Emmerich walked it out into the water and just kept walking, as no one had checked the actual water depth of this island. Though the majority of you all still stayed on top of the raft, mainly Nori, Polly, and Racha, because it would either be chest high or over the head for you guys to walk through. Kaporan did so as well, because getting dirty, come on. And I believe even Bryn was like, yeah, you know what? Emmerich's got this. Mainly so she didn't have to get wet too. But nevertheless, you guys got to the other island's shore, and Nori, with her eyes, was able to see in a far-off distance 2 figures standing at the edge of the water. When I say Nori's eyes, I just mean the observant feet.
I'm sorry.
With that, you guys made your way over, introduced yourselves, sort of. Nori and Kaporan did a lot of the talking. Which, when those
Just this wall of intimidating people and a bird.
and a bird, and then
Don't-
you got the
Don't
2.
forget, I have a feather beard.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
time
we
the
missed.
half
Kaparan has
elves.
a feather beard, and Bryn is younger.
Yep.
I have 5 years.
Bryn took off a few years. Kaporan has a feather beard. Amric levitated for a little bit.
Polly slept with himself.
Polly got to have a snuggle fest with Polly. Seemingly nothing happened to Racha. But eventually most of those things went away, except for Bryn's and Kaporan's thing.
Racha secretly leveled up in something else. Yeah, I got another
now a
XP
ranger.
boost. But it was the first time the half-elves confidently spoke with elves.
This is true. And that was mainly because they were talking to a child.
And the dad was threatening us with a wand.
He was not
Well,
threatening
none
you
of
with a wand.
only
He
Nori
had it
saw
ready.
that.
Yeah, he had it ready. But true to form, a child talked to them, and hell yeah, they're gonna talk to a child. And so, talk they did. They got
Less
a little bit.
threatening.
They got a little bit of information. They immediately, with Kaporan being the lead of the conversation, spilled about half of what they were doing on this island. And were given directions to the closest town, and you guys were off. Heading in the direction, you ended up finding the trail that the little elven boy had told you about. Made your way there, and were greeted with a town, or at least what was left of it, as the surrounding nature and time have done their damage to this town. Seemingly vacated, abandoned, or something else. There's no bodies, there's no clear reason as to why, but this town has lost itself. The town of Dictity is all but foundations at this point when it comes to any of the homes and a few of the more bulkier and stronger structures that were probably merchant shops or heavy traffic facilities are the only thing that really left standing. You guys did a little bit of preliminary investigating. Didn't find a whole hell of a lot. Just enough to know that there were no bodies inside the homes or inside some of the shops or anything like that. So it's not like people were killed in their sleep or something like that. But still in the town, it's where we resume.
Did we want to go to the mountains, or I really want to ask that kid some more questions.
You're gonna walk 45 minutes back?
and assume there's heaven.
Well, they
I
might.
kind of got an idea, but it's sort of vague on the. I guess the word lied.
Yeah. I think his father wasn't thrilled about us being there, and maybe his son was picking up on cues.
No, I'm talking about the riddle.
The riddle? It having lies?
We're supposed to find where the home where the woman lies. Didn't his sister lie to him about the well? So I kind of want to check that out.
I mean,
I checked the well and it's empty and caved in.
Yeah. Let's say about 6 feet down, there's a cave in.
But we can climb in if you want.
6 feet down, I literally could stand in it.
Right, but if the cave in caves in, then you're screwed, aren't you?
I'll be right back.
And he's just buried up to his neck. But
I'll be ahead in a while.
My thing is, what if lies is not like lies down? It's the woman that lies. Like we can't trust the girl.
Well, where the woman lies.
Yeah, you lie at home. You can be lying, as in telling the not truth, or lying down on a bed.
This riddle specifically said shapes, though. That it's not a numbers game anymore, but a shapes. So.
Well, yeah, but like, what if we find the home of this little girl that lied to her brother, and then there's shapes on the wall, and we need to tell it that we know what those shapes are, you know?
Tell her that we know what she did?
I don't know if that's...
I love the idea.
That seems very specific. For something that would seem like a random chance that we happen to run into those people.
Also, I just perfunctory checked the well. It didn't look very hard.
I mean, I can float down there and poke it.
Is the bucket still around to the well, or no?
No, the bucket and even the crossbar is broken.
We also don't even know this is the same well that happened at.
I guess. I mean, kid said that his sister threw him down a well.
There are plenty of wells.
Well, look at that.
I'll just take a little quick look around and see if there's any sort of symbols or pictures I need to know, or I feel like stick out to me.
Okay, go ahead and give me a investigation if you're getting down and looking at stuff. Nori, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Nori, slap me real quick.
Is magic on?
Can I do it?
You have open availability to do it, I believe. You still have, what, 4?
5, I think.
5
He earned one back.
Magic is off. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Richa. No magic, but I can pat you on the head. I bab him on the head. It does nothing, but it's there.
I can try
I
to
believe
try.
in you.
You
I
have it? Alright,
believe
go
in
for
me
it, Brent.
too, I guess.
Uh-oh, she's starting to roll.
I just
20s
rolled
again.
damage.
I'm scared.
Yeah, go ahead and roll your damage.
Yeah, he
not moving.
just straight up like closed his eyes, like put his chin up to.
And then just like How I Met Your Mother, just spun with it for as you after you make
I'm
contact,
crossing out my second 5 now.
and then you high five Kaporin as you make your rotation.
He like sees a little bit of stars, and he's like, "I think it worked."
You're seeing something, that's for sure. Stars! Those are the shapes, guys! Stars!
I'm not healing that.
That one's
It really, yep, it really worked.
all you're seeing is stars. You're seeing shapes. It's stars. There's a little squigglies too. You're getting this.
Shaw has reliable talent. He can't crit fail, can he?
Yeah, you can. You can still crit fail.
Oh, well, never mind then.
It just means
It's an 11 crit fail. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're just like, whoa, what? No one else is seeing this. Like, you almost feel like you're in the astral plane. Like that's like the different sort of colors and shapes and things you're seeing right now. But it goes away after like 30 seconds. You try to take the same angle back, and you're just like, maybe the guidance was just too good. I don't know.
Ring, try it again.
She's just.
He's like, oh, I lost it. I'm sorry, guys. I don't see anything here.
It only lasts for a minute. You gotta try again.
Bryn's about to slap Kahor. Here, let me give it to you.
As Nori is eagle-eyed, just not even paying attention to them at all.
But with your perception check, Nora, you're just looking around more for the stuff that you know. No druid craft anywhere. You do catch snippets, because most of these signs have been long destroyed. But you do catch snippets, and it seems that they run more with Sylvan language rather than Elvish. So little bits of signs that you can pick up. It's definitely either in the handwriting of Sylvan or partial Sylvan words, you know, seeing the last couple letters of a word. But with your understanding of nature and everything like that, and with a nat 20 perception check, say that you gauge if this is all natural growth along everything. Your gauge in this town has been abandoned, because there's a difference between once a place is abandoned and then once nature really starts to overtake. And it's usually, depending on how well things are maintained and kept, a 5 to 10 year sort of gap before nature really starts to make its way into a civilization that's been left behind. So you can't give that a super specific date or year, but you have a good idea that this is probably somewhere in the 300 to 350 years of abandonment. You got to think, all this wood, all this timber that's been dried and used is decaying, rotted, destroyed. Everything's fallen in on itself. The well has caved in. Like, that's if nothing, like I said, completely natural. Nothing came in and wiped things out and, you know, tried to help the natural process along, or whatever the case may be. But as far as any specific writings or anything like that, anywhere where Chaw's looking, nothing's druidic, and you don't see anything specific.
All right, nat 20, I see nothing. Great. There is nothing here. This town seems to be abandoned about probably over 300 years ago.
And just FYI, obviously if something is perceivable by everyone, then definitely anyone can make a perception check to see it, and if they meet the DC, they see it. But not everything is perceivable by everyone. I take into account everyone's sort of niches. Like, if it's something slightly more arcanic, since Koparin has proficiency in that, I would say Koparin has a better chance at seeing something. Now, a nat 20 with a 35 definitely expands the horizon of possibilities that Nori would see, even if it was something like, you know, very minor, like, that scratch looks weird, and then Rachel runs over and it's like, that's Thieves' Cant. And then you're like, really? That's Thieves' Cant? And that, you know, it blends the difference. But just because one person nats or does a really good job on not only perception but other stuff, doesn't mean that someone else can't find something. So, just making sure that's known for everyone.
Well, I did my best, so.
That you did. Hence why you were able to see moss grow and understand how fast this moss grows over 300 years.
Well, it'll do us no good just standing here, I guess. We obviously were lied to, or something. Should we go back?
I mean, why?
Is there really a point to going back?
Half elves, give me an intelligence check. Or a history check. Even though I don't think either of you are proficient in history.
No, I am.
It
16.
shows. Well, compared to parents. Doing that math, if that child that you talked to was talking about this town, that his sister, the well and everything, the math doesn't add up. Because the kid, like you said, elves reach maturity, and then they stay in their forever maturity. So that child, I would say, if we have to give him an age, about 12, maybe 11. So.
This definitely doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
It's weird, to be certain. Which is why I asked last session if, essentially, if there were like weird runes anywhere. It's like, okay, is this a hidden city sort of situation where they're hiding it? But nope.
Like I said, you didn't see anything about that.
Hey. Well, ideas? And Richard, I know Richard went running off, or running around the town. He went around the town or something to investigate stuff.
He's trying to discern the house of the lying child.
Well,
I mean, you guys said mountains, so I was thinking we were going north, but if somebody wants to scout around the area, that might be helpful as well.
I mean, Richard, I could fly, but it might be better for Richard because you guys don't like getting turned into things as well. So
I can't fly right now.
when magic comes back.
I can take a look above the trees right now, but
Just re-putting it down there so everyone has it right in front of Discord.
Remember what happened to Amric's spell gem when he used it outside of magic stuff?
well,
I don't
that's
know.
cute.
Has it worked just fine prior?
Yeah.
Oh,
All of our innately magic items are fine, but I think because we were calling upon magic that we've used put into something, it's a little different. Do I get the sense that my boots hasn't been deteriorating over time since I've been using it in the non-magic times?
And to be fair, you've never used it to its full
Really?
extent yet.
Oh, sure. Which is like how many hours? Wing boots. 4 hours.
So, to be fair, you need to wear them for 4 hours to see if that's changed at all.
Never really needed to fly for 4 hours straight. But yeah, let me take a look above the trees for a moment. And he'll, as long as he doesn't get no retorts, we'll go up.
Well, Nori climbed a tree, I
yeah.
believe, last session. And like I said, it's just a forest, and then the mountains cut right out of the forest up to the north.
Mm.
Is it
but-
really flat?
You mean the mountains or the forest?
Forest.
No, the
And
forest
mountains, I
has
guess?
some rolling hills to it.
Well, there must be another
But the mountains are
civilization.
not pointy. Just clarifying that because someone asked last session.
Well, the kid mentioned more than one settlement, and there are obviously roads going other places. So
Yeah, my next question would be like, where are these roads going?
The
Well,
north
we
one
might
goes
not-
to the mountain, and then there's the east and west one. And we came from the south.
Correct.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Well, I mean, if so, find the home where the woman lies and tell her that you know. We might be in the home, just be in the city. And then it says from there to the east, so maybe we should be going towards the east. Don't read the tempting tome.
So no one read any strange books while we're doing stuff.
mission complete.
Norris just looking at Capera.
Or I'm just like, like, yes, ma'am. And
me? Little old me?
Well, it's the bestest option. So I agree for you.
I guess it's either we go east now or we don't worry about that. Go northward bound and watch out for pyramids.
Yeah, this riddle makes no sense.
I mean, I don't know if we'd be looking out for real pyramids because it says, what does it say? It said, watch your step. And if it was real pyramids, I don't think we'd have to watch where we're. I don't think we'd have to worry about stepping on them or full size pyramids.
A D4.
we start walking and there's a path and the gravel's replaced by D4s. Oh no.
Lego bricks. Oh no.
Best anti-rogue device. D4s.
Flat tires all day long.
So, what's the final decision? East or north?
Claren?
I'm fine with east.
Alright, then let's go east.
East it is. Let me bring us back to... Oh, I got that. To our traveling... Are we sticking with the same setup?
I guess Kaporan would have headed north or east first, so
So Kaporan's in the lead now.
Alright, I'll be right behind Caparan.
Not fighting.
Bryn is on
nothing.
Nori's shoulders.
We're walking side by
No,
side.
next to her. Gosh.
No, I totally want to see Nori just fucking muscling.
that metal arm really does work.
It lets me do a D4 of damage instead of nothing.
She's like, "Come here, hon. Let me just takes Bryn by the wayside and just like starts."
It's literally like you had a cast iron skillet in your hand when you're hitting people. That's where your damage comes from. Alright, so travel we do. Eastward bound we go. And travel, travel, travel. You don't see anything for the first hour. Then, eventually you're greeted with, and this road, again, is a gravel road. It does have some growth peeking through, some weeds that have grown into, and in betwixt the gravel, but it's very much still consistent. In the hour, Nori catches it first. We went east. Nori catches it first, and it's just a hint of sound at the periphery of you being able to hear past the nature sounds that exist in the forest to your left and to your right. It's something different, not creature related. You guys are walking and the crunch of the gravel and everyone moving, and the sounds just too difficult to pinpoint out just yet.
I will hold a finger, go shh, and like stop moving, just to listen. Hopefully the rest shush and
Perrin,
stop.
What's your passive perception?
Passive perception 17.
Okay, so it's high. Surprising. It is high enough.
I'm pretty sure all of us have proficiency in perception.
It's high enough to hear Nori say that, and high enough not to turn around and go, "What?"
Damn, you got me right there.
But everyone sort of stops. The noise is getting louder, but not quickly. It's a very slow royal of the noise getting louder, and you're trying to pinpoint it. Go ahead and make me a history check. No one else hears anything yet. It sounds... It sounds like a cart. Like wooden wheels on an axle going over gravel. But
Nori will go
far
sorry.
away. Like as if a cart traveling down this path with no regards to how much sound it's making, you're barely picking it up. But the path in front of you is straight. Like hard straight. There is no bends for as far as the eye can see. Forward or behind you at this point in time.
So it's far enough that we can't see it, but I can hear it?
Yeah. Now you've heard of some phenomena happening with portions of forest that create either on trails or anything else. If it's a densely packed forest, it kind of works like the water, and sound can travel a bit further, but to this degree, it doesn't add up. As you're listening and listening, now everyone else is starting to hear it as well as it's getting louder.
Oh god, I'm gonna get spirited away.
It's not fair. They call it a labyrinth, but there's no twists or turns anywhere.
Oh god. Are we in another dungeon already?
Cart coming. I don't.
With your high perception, Nori, it should be either in front or behind you. 60, 70 feet? Yeah, nothing
Is there any movement of the gravel?
Now, with your perception, no?
Can I use the see invisibility scroll?
Sure. Actually, we're at an hour, so we would be out of magic time.
The scroll doesn't work.
You can try it.
It might break it.
Gotcha. Never mind. I just thought we used it before.
You have. I'm keeping
I don't
tallies.
like that smile.
I'll
Let's
move off
just
the road
say-
and sit in the forest.
Behind the scenes, you've rolled really well when it comes to using that scroll.
We have the lantern.
So, Polly, you're dipping into the forest?
Yep.
I think I'll step off the path.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll kind of stick with Polly, not in the exact same spot, but I'll step a little, like, just into the tree line.
Are we gonna say it's like the path is like what 10 feet across?
It is.
Or I'll just go to the opposite side then. Yeah.
Brent? You pulling out your shield and sword and just being like, "Come at me, bro!"
No. Maybe if it was someone like Kaporan, but it's fine. I'm kidding, Kaporan. I love you. No, she'll just step off the path.
Nori's side or the opposite?
Nori's side.
Once I said that, she was like, "Now I have to go to Nori's side in case she gets kidnapped." Chop.
You said it's like 60 feet away?
Nori is able to pinpoint it about 60 feet away.
He's just sort of like gonna look around and be like, "Ahoy there."
Okay. So Charles stands there, ahoying whatever may be coming. The sound gets louder and louder. Consistent speed as it's moving. It almost seems, now that you guys are on either side of the road, that it's passing directly between you all. No change, no movement, no gravel shifting or wind or anything like that. There's no shimmer as if maybe they're cloaked by anything. There's nothing. And Rajah's just standing there, ahoying. The sound as it comes towards him. And as it gets louder and louder and goes, "Ahoy there!" One more time, loudly, about 10 feet from him. Almost as if moving past a green screen. There's 3 horses pulling a cart that materialize as they pass through this portion. First in a spectral light of grays and off-color blacks and whites, until eventually going through Racha. And once they get past him, color returning to the horses, returning to the cart, and the elvish man who rides atop a cart with 3 elvish people in the back, a woman, a young male child, and then another elven man.
Is the woman lying down?
No, she's not lying down. She's currently sitting with her child. The child's
Hey, you
on
gotta
her-
ask.
So is it 4 people total, and like one's at the front? Okay.
Yeah, one's driving the cart, and the 3 are in the back.
And this cart came from the direction of the town we just left from, right?
No. It came from the
Okay.
direction you guys are heading. And it continues on.
Do they acknowledge us?
No?
This
Horn
place-
starts walking back. He's following the cart. What time of day is it?
About now, you're looking at
Butter, come here.
a couple hours to sundown.
Ruchal would just sort of call out to him and be like, "How goes the travels today, sir?"
As you call that out to them in the cart, the elven man and the elven woman kind of just both like perk up and look in your direction. And the little kid just looking at you with a big smile across his face. The elvish man and woman sort of look at each other, and the man, we're doing all right. Thanks. Have a glorious day.
Anything we should be worried about going up that way that you're coming from?
They look at each other once again, and even the cart driver is like looked over. I guess the only thing to worry about for you is the friar.
You mean like a religious person?
I mean, some call it a religion. Have a good day. As the cart is continued.
Where are we headed in
What?
this direction?
Can't hear you.
Something seems weird.
You
Dude.
think?
It was Racha And like 10 feet in front of him, they came out from nowhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
10 feet in the
Are any
direction
of
that you
us-
guys were walking towards. It started to appear. It didn't solidify and gain color until it went past him.
Are any of us past that point, that 10-foot point?
All of you guys
Yeah.
were past that point. Rachel was way in the back.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like this is some timey-wimey bullshit?
I'm so tired of timey-wimey bullshit. I swear. The magic is still wonky. It can't be timey-wimey bullshit.
I mean, it could be expedited timey-wimey bullshit. We don't know. But Kaporan's gonna start making his way back, following the cart. He's
When that happened, was there like a shift in the magic?
Nope.
Okay, just making sure.
I feel like something might have changed in the town. Call it a hunch, but
How long are we away from the town?
An
Like, how
hour
far out?
walk.
I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but how? Like, is the cart still visible to us, even if it gets like way out there?
Once you get to the 120-foot range, it starts to become a little harder to see. But still visible. But it's definitely going to get lost into the... just everything going around on the side, the forest, and not there being a crap ton of light on the trail.
I don't want to try to keep pace to where just the cart's just in view.
So you're going to be running?
Oh, they're, I assume, yeah, 3 horses are moving pretty fast, aren't they?
Yep.
I wouldn't be running. But he wants to head back towards the town.
Okay.
If a cart just popped out of nowhere, then maybe something changes when it gets dark?
It's not
We've
dark
seen-
yet.
Well, it starts to get later.
But wouldn't. But we don't know where they came from either, so something might change there.
But we know what the town looked like when we left it. I mean, there's only one thing to go back and double check it, see if anything's changed.
Yeah, well, we're gonna lose 2 hours doing that. Do we really want to spend? And then by the time we get back here, it's gonna be nighttime.
I mean, we have no idea how far it is to the next place, if there's the next place.
Well, it's already getting late. I mean, why is it so late all of a sudden?
1 o'clock in the
You spent-
afternoon is late for you?
Is it 1 o'clock? Like about 1 o'clock?
Close to like 2, but you're in the middle of winter season, buddy.
Oh.
Days are short.
Well, if you're gonna follow it, then run. Because you're gonna lose it if you don't.
What happens if Dory tries to make horses?
What?
It's currently no magic time.
I
Yeah,
just
but
fully didn't hear
doesn't
what you
that
said.
just mean? Doesn't that mean like just weaker magic, not no magic?
She can still
Right,
wild
right.
shape. You guys can do your innate features and traits, but you can't cast any spells.
I've gotten so many mixed things. Can I wild shape or not?
You wild shaped.
You can. But you end up wild shaping during boosted magic.
During boosted, you wild shape other people. You can wild shape, but you don't have the same amount of time that you have.
Oh, it like halves it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's no big deal at all. I'm a level 13 druid. That means I have 6 hours of wild shape. 3 hours is fine.
I'm going to say continual use of doing it outside of magic time.
That's why I haven't touched it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. But multiple using of it, just like magical items, might have some problems in the future.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin my wild shape.
I really want to go back, but if
All right,
you
then
guys,
let's go back if you
The
really want
cart
to.
is now out of sight. It's moving 60 feet around, so you guys having that much of a conversation, Kabor, you turn around, you don't fucking see shit.
I mean, I
Oh,
could
shit.
try and catch back up to it if you really want
Child's
me
the
to.
only one
but-
that can catch it.
Yeah, you really could. Do you want to run?
I mean, I could catch up to it for sure, but
I just don't want to lose it.
It's still there.
yeah, he'll just go bolt. Do 150 feet around.
Which I'll go fast.
Speedboat.
So we just start to walk.
Racha Bobby.
Once he feels like he should have caught up to the thing, if he doesn't see it, he'll just sort of like construct his bicycle.
Okay. Yeah, you don't see it.
Do I even hear it or anything or no?
Make a perception check. How far would you want to go?
I mean, at full speed, I probably can't run all that crazy long, so I'd probably do like 5, maybe 10 minutes pushing it. I feel like if it was, I'm doing more than double its speed
Yeah.
going towards it, I feel like I could catch up for sure.
You book it in that direction, keeping an ear out. As you keep an ear and an eye out, you never come across it, never hear it.
And yeah, he'll just sort of pop out his bicycle stuff and put it all together and ride back to the group.
Before anyone sees Racha, you hear the ching ching first. Oh no, you got a horn, don't you?
I've got like a lot of things. Technically, I don't remember if it was in the other timeline or not. No, it's in this timeline. I'm pretty sure that I constructed the orb of gonging that Kaparin gave back to me into a bicycle horn.
You definitely would hear that
It's
before.
so loud.
Before you would see Racha. But eventually you do see Racha returning on what is now deemed his bicycle, because he never gave it to Amric's sister.
She never seemed like she wanted it.
Nice wheels.
Nothing.
I mean, I got pretty far out there. It didn't seem like I couldn't even hear it again.
This place is weird. Has magic come back at all?
Well,
Did you
this-
feel it go through you, Racha? Sorry.
Pretty sure I just stepped out of the way, was my guess.
If horses randomly appeared right in front of you and they're heading in your direction,
Just curious.
it's smart enough to step out of the way. You got about
I mean,
5
they
more
just-
minutes until magic.
They just said be wary of any friars ahead. So, I mean, we can just keep going, I guess.
Like the person or the food?
I'm not entirely sure. I've tried to clarify myself, but they just sort of said yes.
All right. So keep an eye out for religious people, I guess.
Here we are, a whole group of religious people.
Extremely religious people.
Just a porn.
Here we are. Am I religious? No, I just have a complex.
It's mostly those guys that have like the hair in a band around their head and shaved bald tops. That's the
Friar
that's
Tucks,
people
got
we're
it.
looking
They're
for.
all Friar
Yeah.
Tucks. Canon.
Why such
Hollywood
a hideous
loves them.
hairdo?
At least we'll have beer.
Exactly.
Some sweet mead. I mean, I'm for it if you guys are.
Well, I guess
I
no more
don't,
but
think
four.
I don't think I can really pull off the look because I need at least some hair, which I don't have.
We can start cutting hair and making a wig for you.
Get some
Maybe
metal
glue some
shavings.
on.
Just find a
Yeah.
nest. Just find an abandoned nest and take out the middle.
Flip it upside
Then you
down.
can be a nature metal boy. It'll be great.
You could
He already
like
sort
you
of
could
is.
shave some wood and make a whole bunch of curls and be like those really pretty boys, the pretty paladins. You just glue them to your head and have like this nice head of curls and stuff.
Just like cherubic.
I feel a lot of us are overlapping at this point on who we are. We definitely rub off on each other a lot, don't we?
I'm just waiting till y'all realize that if he's gonna do anything like try and get hair stuff, he's got to go to a welder.
We just gotta get him a fun hat. That's what we have to do.
You just gotta find that like infinite
Toupee?
glue.
I just want
It
to
was
give him the mohawk from Guardians of the Galaxy.
What? How many channels would you get if you?
Have a magical little.
I get
So
So
I
are
get,
we heading back to this village or are we moving on?
I get connection to Seattle.
Space
Considering-
travel unlocked.
Direction. No, he just gets HBO Max.
Pay-per-view. I would say town. But otherwise everyone can vote.
Town actually might be a good decision because that way.
It's also getting late. Or
It's
no,
like
not late.
Ooh,
I know I keep saying late, but
Getting dark.
getting dark. Yes.
It's going to get dark in the next couple of hours.
Thank you. I've been trying to say that. That was you, right, Polly?
Yeah, totally.
Was it Polly?
Ventriloquism?
there's just like a bird up in a tree, and it's just listened to one guy talk in that accent for so long now it just
If
says
I
those
said it
things.
like that, you wouldn't know it anyway because you don't speak Dwarvish, do you?
The accent makes it
Technically, we're told to
dwarvish.
speak whatever language he
I speak
likes.
I mean,
Dwarvish.
do I sound Dwarvish right now?
I have no idea. Do you? You're like
Yeah,
one of the. You're like one of I don't know, 10 dwarves I've ever met.
Well,
All
you've
of
never heard me
Soulbred.
speak Dwarvish before, so
I just, as the DM, have to remember not to use any voices because you guys automatically think if you hear a voice in an accent that it's someone talking. That was just me.
I was expecting it to be another person that just have manifested next to us.
Just like a
but it
really
is going
short
to get dark
dwarf.
in the next few hours, like 3 or 4 hours. So we should probably pick a direction and stick with it instead of walking back and forth.
Kaporn, what's your gut tell you?
Something weird's going on with that village.
He doesn't have right walls to go off of.
Tree line, forest tree line. And Caporn's currently facing the other
Both
direction.
Way.
Caporn's currently facing one direction.
He loves that band.
I
He
do.
would.
He's more of just a Harry Styles fanboy.
He would.
He would. Comparin would. Maybe not you as a player, but Comparin would definitely be.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm referencing. Aaron
So,
definitely
I
has
guess we
fan
can go
poster.
back to the village then, if we want.
Bryn is leaving it in the hands of Comparin, so she is relinquishing her mama bear rights.
Too much
Ori is
power.
neutral on what happens. This forest is weird. I'd like to explore, but I think everyone would yell at me.
Feel free to explore.
Mainly just one.
I mean, as long as you don't end up in another dungeon.
Yeah, that's the goal.
So stay above ground, please.
Believe it or not, that wasn't a pleasant experience for me either.
I mean, if you did just fall into a dungeon, that would pretty much be like, oh, this is where we're supposed to be. Cool, it's awesome.
I did it, guys. Just send me off on my own. Maybe I'll find it.
I just gotta be a snake all the time.
So I found the first dungeon. I helped find the second. I've helped find whatever this third thing is. Now
Back
we're
to
on
the
this
town.
one. I helped us find the things. I don't know the puzzles, but I can get you where you need to go.
You want me to take off or no?
I mean, you can, but
As long as you come back.
I'm a little too silly for what Nori would be doing right now. She's. Alright. So, what's the direction we're going in, Caparan?
Back to the town.
Start walking,
Right.
bud.
Go ahead, Richa.
He's just going at 70 feet around on his bicycle.
Well, he's going 50 feet, and then he's doing circles for 20 feet, because Polly can only go 50 feet.
I'll catch up eventually.
Are we sprinting?
Then Rachad's just doing hard circles.
Yeah, Richard's going down and back like over and over again.
Rachad's
Oh, so you're just having a
BMXing.
fun time.
He's pedaling super hard, then skid stopping, and then like going through a couple of the trees and finding like random little rocks that do jumps off of.
Question: can he fly while he's on his bike?
He can, his bike won't.
Aw.
E.T.
I'm literally just carrying it is what I'm doing. Like I'm holding it with my legs and making it look like I'm doing E ET.
Unfortunately, since you're only on levitation right now, as soon as you kick it, you just start going straight up. You don't continue momentum.
Oh man, somebody dragged me along.
And give me a blanket. I need to
Get a
wrap
rope
myself.
and carry him around like a balloon.
We use the 50 feet of rope, and then either me or Bryn just start spinning him around. And
And what's great is that like every 20 minutes when he kicks back onto magic, he's flying, so that it's like
Hyper speed. But back to the town, please.
back to the town we go. Travel, 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 travel. Hour later, you're back at the town.
No changes.
Still dilapidated and sad.
Looks like it.
All I
Even
can
Norris
Magic, no magic.
if it's an hour, you got a couple minutes till magic.
Bryn, when magic comes back on, can you see invisibility? Or did you try that last time
Try.
and it didn't work?
Did I try that last time?
I
No,
don't think so.
you got here, no magic. And you guys just dipped. Oh no,
I don't think she used
Bryn
it.
wasn't
No,
with
she
us last
didn't. Yeah.
session, so
yeah, I was trying to remember if I did it or not. But 9.
Then yeah, I can try it in a little bit.
A little bit later, I could try.
Richard's doing like circles around the village, seeing if that cart shows up.
On your bike,
Yeah,
just destroying all the moss.
I hope they're happy.
I hope you're happy now. Magic comes back. Bryn, you see invisibility? Nothing?
I don't see anything different.
Racha, did you touch that cart or the horses or anything as it passed you?
I did not know. They just sort of manifested about 10 feet ahead of me.
And when you handed that kid that gold, you didn't touch him, you just handed him the gold, correct? Gabarin?
Yeah, I didn't touch him at all. Well,
Okay.
Baron felt a type of way about saying that sentence.
That's really gross, and I apologize for stating it that way.
well, he's still like a,
We're gonna
I'm like a
move
kid.
on.
What's wrong with
I-
touching a child? I'm very confused.
Oh, I almost had Rachel talk about ball gags.
I know. I saw the whole VOD.
Okay.
I would have probably done it if I was there.
Dr.
Warren had the
Baker.
child now. He doesn't. He feels really uncomfortable with that sentence.
And that's how we get fireball to death.
I hear Fireball's doing really well for himself. I'm sorry. I guess I was wrong. It just felt like something like. Why would the cart be coming back to a location that?
Sounds
Is-
like some timey-wimey bullshit to me.
Yeah, they probably didn't know that it was so messed up like this. Or, like Amric saying, they're caught in a time loop type of deal, and they think they're going someplace, and they never truly actually got there because they're.
Were they dressed in things that looked older? Because I mean, we saw people on like the ghosties.
Yeah.
They have similar styles to like the older.
Let's see. Only Amric and Bryn actually saw the ghosties.
History checks.
History checks for the fighters.
I'm sorry.
Did the skeletons look at all like those guys?
Those skeletons
Hey, you're
are
the
just
one.
humanoid in general, so yeah, technically.
You're the one I buried earlier.
It's funny, Bryn, you weren't here, and I said someone to do a history check, and I even finished the sentence with, "All right, give me a history check, Bryn," and I was like, "Wait, sorry." I'm just used to saying it.
Automatically go to me.
Yeah, it was for me to make a history check, and it was make a history.
Sorry, just my innate. I need to get one of those out a session.
You really don't.
I kind of do.
I think we had your roll anyway, and you still got pretty.
Okay, so as far as clothing goes, Bryn, you sort of racking your mind for the different, because obviously there's like a gradient of people from the base of the tree all the way to the outskirts of the radius of that area. And you could tell that the ones closer to the tree were older. So if you had to place the clothing that those people were wearing on the cart to something relative to any of the bodies or any of the people that you saw in the field, we would say probably the very outer edge.
Okay.
Like last ring. Last two rings, maybe.
I don't know. Oh yeah, that was last year's fashion,
Yeah, no.
but it's definitely more recent than
Yeah, definitely
long time ago.
much more recent than anything.
Not quite 300 years.
Because even though their fashion does change over the years, there are staples that sort of stay, especially in this climate and this weather. Like, even though you could tell things were made of better and better quality through the years of those people, it was all pretty much still the same type of wear. Loose clothing, decently thin, because this is a tropical climate.
even the bodies that were hanging on the tree, though, none of them were they all clothed or were they all like?
No, it's just skeletons.
So it could still be from like 200 or 300 years ago, even being the most recent.
Well, all the skeletons were magical creations. Because as soon as
it
you guys
just happened to be their spirits tied to that.
as soon as you guys solved the puzzle, all the other skeletons just disintegrated. So, inferences can be made in all directions. But as you guys are here and the magic is going on, Bryn doesn't see anything out of the ordinary or different than what her regular eyes see. And that lasts for, what, 10 minutes? A minute?
And
I think it lasts for like an hour.
There's a 1 in there somewhere.
Rachel will double check that well, just in case, because he feels like he didn't do a great job seeing all those stars last time.
Rachel just nosedives into the well.
Go ahead and
Rachel goes underground, Nori climbs another tree.
give me another investigation check. Slightly better, but somehow still the same, it feels like. But nothing. No thieves' cat, no markings, no runic, no etchings, anything. Not even a WD plus JD in a heart.
Are you referencing something?
I'm sad. Because there's no heart.
If you don't know, you won't know. Because I vividly see it in my head from a movie, but I have no fucking clue what movie it's from.
That's what Google is for.
Well, I'm sorry if I wasted our time, but it just seemed really strange.
Everyone collectively thinks that this entire quest is a waste of time.
Yeah, no, it's like, I'm sorry, this is a waste of time. Everyone goes perfectly silent. Like,
Are we making camp here, or are we going to start backtracking again?
I mean, no sense we get moving now and not end up somewhere without, like, with the sun going down.
Riley, do you want to try something just to see what happens with the spell? But you guys can go ahead.
How big is the island look in general, or not?
The island you're on?
Yeah, so like
It's one of the
we
largest
traveled.
ones.
Yeah, so we traveled like an hour out. Does it feel like we should have hit something or like hit the ocean? Even?
This island is even bigger than the island you guys first landed on, and it took you multiple hours to go from the farthest north port to the north shore. And it doesn't help that the paths are the paths, but they're not very much the most direct route, because they are also pathing with topography. So anytime there's a hill, the path goes around the hill. Anytime there's maybe a heavy clumping of trees that they didn't want to take down, they very much went the path of least resistance through the forest when they created this trail.
Mm-hmm.
So that little stretch that you guys were on was fairly straight, but it definitely has been a lot of looping and such too. So an hour of you guys walking is more of like probably a 30-minute straight shot if you were to go in a straight line. What are you doing, Nori?
I'm gonna go step away for safety purposes. I'd like to cast Tree Stride on myself.
Okay.
Well, the range
How
is
far away, safety purposing.
Essentially, I would go, guys, I'm gonna go cast a spell, but I'm gonna go like 60 feet that way. So just in case stuff happens. It's not an attack spell, it's just Tree Stride. So
Move to the other side of town.
I'll just get to the point where I'm at a tree line, because I need the trees to do so.
Are we going to be here for a while then?
No, the spell only lasts a minute.
Okay. These
Cast
two is a spell that I have checked against my boosted notes. So you cast it. You are in a tree, and you are going to the next tree, and then the next tree.
I can control which tree I go to, though.
I know. Okay, are you just sitting in a tree, or are you actually using it?
Oh no, I'm like using it to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
see
about.
how far I go. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were like saying you.
No, I'm just
Interrupted.
saying that you're tree striding. You're going from tree to tree. It isn't until you do a small loop that you end up realizing, and everyone else has noticed this too, as Nori has started tree striding, that as she goes from tree to tree, she's just ripping chunks of tree out behind her. Just
That's why I wanted to try it. Just like if any trees broke, I would have stopped the spell.
yeah,
That was the whole purpose for this casting.
yeah. Like, you did a small loop. I'm not talking like you went 300 trees and then came back. I'm like you did 4 trees and then like circled back around, and you're like, oh, that's enough of that.
And that spell. Damn it. Not gonna be using that one.
What you mean?
Why not?
They'll grow back.
But you could have gone twice as far.
Yeah. I can go 1,000 feet. What the fuck?
We could really travel fast if we yell.
It only works
It
on
only
me,
it's a
but
self
theoretically, I could go because I can do it once per round for a minute. So it's 6,000 feet.
So you could travel down the pathway and tell us what's at the other end.
I could break all the trees.
That's why you're breaking the trees, though, is because you're basically shunting out so much force from the tree.
Yeah.
You got to realize that even though things are getting boosted and the magic itself is boosted, you're having an effect on the area around you. And with nature spells, unfortunately, the thing that you're going to be affecting is nature.
Yeah.
So,
That's.
You got to pull
I wanted.
extra power from something. And unfortunately, a lot of nature stuff deals with touching with nature stuff. So
The trees
Yeah.
are like, yeet.
it's very much
Anyway, I
just
can
like,
help the tree so it's not gonna die. from, like, an
it's
infection.
you know trees are pretty resilient, especially if the damage is higher up, away from their roots. And I would expect you not to have done this on floor level.
Yeah.
So they'll be fine over time.
I suspected it would be something not great, so rather try it now so I can not stock the spell in the future.
Or stock the spell in the future. But yeah, so that's the case. It's very much you've got to pull a little bit of the life force of the tree to help you give that boost.
Oh, so it forces us to boost the magic.
Yeah, you can't. Basically, the boost will happen whether or not you use the full ability of the boost.
Okay.
Just like when you use a 3rd level spell, you use a 3rd level spell. Even if you don't want to use all the aspects of a 3rd level spell, you still have to use a 3rd level spell. Or when you upcast a spell, but it gets no bonus to upcasting, you're still burning that magic of a 4th, 5th level spell doing a 3rd level spell. It's sort of the same concept, just with whatever boosted negative effects come about anything.
Alrighty.
And that's why there's no negative effects to healing. Because the only way that I can make that make sense is to give up some health to boost your healing. And I felt like that was too much.
Oh no,
That
your
feels mean.
lungs are falling apart. Let me heal them. Oh no, where are my lungs?
Let me regenerate
No
your
more
leg. My
lungs for
leg's
you.
gone!
How did Rachad do?
I already said.
How did I do what? Yeah.
With his well investigation.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Not well.
Sorry.
Not superb. But he can write off the well. As far as hiding any secrets.
Yeah, I am comfortable saying this is a well.
Well,
Excellent.
Well done.
it was a well.
Alright. So do we want to head north or do we want to go back east like we were?
I don't know what this riddle wants from us.
I mean, we never even saw the next thing in the east.
Yeah. I had a hunch that something might interesting be happening.
Yeah.
Travel till sunset then?
Oh, what if that was the tome we weren't supposed to interact with, and we just ruined everything?
That's not a tome, though.
What
Book?
What if the person's name was like Thomas Tome or something? I don't know.
His name is Toe Meh.
So,
You didn't read him.
All that work and
Oh,
this quest
Richard incited the shit out of him.
tragic.
Yeah, all that work, you guys are screwed now.
okay.
So we are going back the way we came.
Yep, it looks like it.
Polly will roll his eyes and start walking again.
It's very much the Expendables feeling when we got, what is it? Not Jet Li. Is it Jet Li? Because he's so short compared to all the other superhero, not superhero, but like badass martial men. And he's like, you're tall, I'm short. My legs, to go the same distance, have to work twice as fast.
Polly, did you want to ride my bicycle?
I'm
Bye.
good.
Can you
Bicycle.
ride your bike?
Bicycle.
You might be a little heavy for it, but it's probably
I don't
Yeah.
want to break it.
No, your bicycle was made primo.
that's fair. I did build it with the intention of giving it to a teenage Goliath. So
Mhm.
So yeah, I can't use it because my legs are too short.
Oh,
I mean, you're as tall as I am, though.
Richard's got
Yeah.
these little wooden planks that he attaches to his feet.
No, it was like I had it so that you could
The seat
attach
adjusts.
bigger tires to allow the Goliath to ride it. So right now it's on Rachel size tires.
I'm good. Thank you. I don't want to break it. Because knowing my luck, I would.
I believe in you, and it's a machine. Isn't that what dwarves like?
We find out now that Richard has a voice, he's racist.
He's racist.
Hey! Polly's giving out some racism. It's time for him to take some.
Some dwarves, yes. I'm not that kind of dwarf.
Alright, that's fair. Nora, you can ride it if you want to.
I don't want to take your bike. Besides, walking's good for me.
Mithrin might really appreciate it, though. Like, fuse it into your arm or something.
I don't want to take your bike. Or just like looks down at her hand and just goes, is this what you want?
Give me
No
the bike.
response.
The hand just starts
Sacrifice
floating.
the bike to me.
I must consume.
You need to ask him about the mithril we have on us. If that offends him or something. I don't think it does.
I think he said he didn't
That's my
care.
left nipple.
You bring up a lot of nipple stuff, and I don't appreciate it.
It's just with Mithranum. And Kaporin probably having a piercing, but that's it.
What happened to Amber's piercings when he got turned
Oh yes.
into a robot?
Okay, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I wasn't the one with it.
They're door knockers now.
No! I hate that.
I was perfectly fine forgetting about those until you had to bring it up.
I'm genuinely sorry.
If you really wanted to get that solved, I could probably like unscrew them from you or something.
Just has the circle.
Use his toolkit.
See, the thing is I would have to take my armor off and put it back on, which is going to take like a whole day. So
Episode today.
I'm crying. Ugh.
We're heading east.
All right, east we go.
Oh goodness.
An hour passes. Guess where you're at?
Oh, it looks familiar.
I wonder why.
Keep on trucking if nothing changes.
You got about 10-15 minutes till sundown.
We're
keep
still
walking.
in magic time.
Yeah, for a few more minutes.
I'm gonna like dip up into the sky and see if there's anything
Okay.
close enough to warrant shelter or like civilization.
Make a stealth check.
Look out for the fryer.
No one notices that Richaw in the back of the group has disappeared into the sky.
Barely notice it.
And you look around, flat trees. Rolling hills where the trees do maneuver a little bit. But even looking back in the direction that you came at the town, very, very briefly, and you can barely see it from point of view, probably 100 or so feet up above the canopy, do you even see an opening where the town is. So it's very much... None of the buildings probably get higher than the tree canopy, if there are other settlements nearby. And they are either of the same size, maybe a little bit bigger, or smaller. So they are, unless you know where they're at, very hard to find from the air without going, like, drastically up. And even then, no guarantee.
Do I at least see like a line of the pathway that we're on?
The forest, like I said, the branches grow all into each other, are very thick, and the trees are very close together. So it is a thick canopy.
That's fair. Then I guess I was going to ask another question, but I lost my train of thought.
Trains don't exist yet. The technology is still in production.
I'm working on it.
So your wagon of thought.
Your hooded cart.
Oh, so how about distance-wise? Does it feel like however far away the town that I do see is roughly an hour away kind of thing still? Or like does it feel like it's only like 10 feet away, but we've just been traveling for an hour?
No, it definitely still fits in, not an hour away, because like I said, point A to point B. But with the turns and everything that you had to make, understandably correct distance away. It's no magical traveling bullshit. This isn't the forest in Ixia. The bramble.
He'll just swoop down with his little play card in his tire, go come down to everybody, and it's just like, I mean, I can't really see any sort of town in any direction except for the one we were at, but that doesn't mean they're not there. They're all pretty well hidden, even that one.
So, make camp. Is that what we're doing?
Well, with how short the day is, we should probably travel for another hour or two, and then before we
haven't
like,
exactly
it's
seen
only-
anything
it's only
threatening
like
either.
4 or 5 right now, right?
It
Yeah.
also means we're setting up camp in the dark.
So dancing in the dark.
We know what dancing did with you in the dark last time. We're not doing it again.
We don't
I
need
mean, we
any more
haven't
children.
exactly found any threatening things either. Typically, pathways are supposed to be non-threatening as well. We wanted to keep going on, at least for a little while, into the dark to see if we get somewhere.
I'd say keep going for a little while. I'd rather, because then we're just going to be sitting there, not sleeping, and then I'd rather get some walking in while we can.
Sounds good to me.
Onward.
I just stubbed my pinky toe and it hurts like a bitch. All right.
Smooth.
Eastward bound and down we go. For another hour.
Sure.
Okay. Kaporn, leader of the group. And so, another hour of travel we go. You're the only one that spoke up. Bryn has already given you the title, the deed. She signed over ownership.
Of the keep?
Of mom.
Nope, of mom.
You are not a father, you are now a mom.
Yep. But, with that, another hour traveled. This time, a little bit less twists and turns through the trail as you guys continued on. Not quite the full hour of travel, but just under 45, 50 minutes of it. So just as magic is kicking back on for you guys, there's a small clearing up ahead. It is dark. The gods have decided not to show any moons tonight. Those stars pockmark the skies and some constellations can be seen by Amric. Go ahead and give me a history check. His god is a night god, Kaporn. You
Almost a two.
You get the some of the constellations you're not sure about, but there's some that you've grown up with, and one is the Archer, which basically means wherever the way that the Archer is facing, you're supposed to expect not danger, but basically keep an eye out in that direction is what the Archer signifies. This, like I said, and again, this may not be for you. It could be to any one of the followings, and you don't know which nocturnal deity is the one that's putting out the constellations tonight. But the Archer is pointing northward, or up technically, but that means north. And then you have the turtle, and the turtle basically means it's better to hide than it is to fight. Again, maybe not for you, maybe not even the right god, but those are the only two constellations that you remember and you see. And they're not near each other, which doesn't mean they might not be closely related. It might be multiple messages to different followers.
Okay.
I thought we should start leaning into, some Umbrosi stuff for you.
Is there a way that I can learn more about that kind of stuff without having to go to a library somewhere?
Yeah, meditation, praying to Umbros for knowledge in that sort of things. Whenever you pray to a deity, and you're not just being like, "Hey, what's up?" and trying to just have a conversation with them, but you're like, "Hey, this specific thing I need help with. Not that I need all the answers or right away, but if you just go, hey, I'm trying to learn more. I'm trying to gain more knowledge in your honor and of you. Can you give me some images of constellations specific to you?" Then you might get flashes, memories, or looking up into the sky, you'll see an outline of a constellation you've never seen before. But for some reason, it just pokes out to you. So it's stuff like that when this goes for everybody and their deities. If you ask for specific things and just assistance with it, rather than just trying to have conversations or just trying to reach out, basically when you just try and reach out, that's a at least from the deity's standpoint, like a half-ass attempt of trying to make communication. It's like hey, I'm here, and it's like if they got nothing else that they're doing, they'll go ahead and talk to you. But the DC around the D100s that I roll increases and decreases highly with what you're asking for, and how you're asking it.
I was told not to do that anymore.
Not gonna stop you. So yeah, that'd be a way for you to specifically learn about constellations and everything. Just sort of pray and ask for it and meditate on it. But like I said, around the 50-minute mark, as magic is kicked on for a couple minutes, a clearing is open in front of you. It's dark, so you don't get to see exactly what it is, even those with dark vision. The moon's not out. There's still a heavy canopy. It is very dark. So you're at the max of your dark vision, but that means, like, after your dark vision, that's fucking it. Like, you gotta creep forward till it gets into your dark vision, then you're like, okay, I can see it now. But you can at least know that there's a clearing because the trees start to get thinner, and then all of a sudden the tree line stops. So I'd say, for those who have dark vision, you get to the edge of your dark vision and realize that the tree line has stopped. You guys don't see any lights ahead. So whatever is in front of you, either is absolutely dormant, or inference what you will, but there is no natural or artificial light coming from this area in front of you. But I will say that those up at the front would stop everyone, especially the dark vision people, probably getting closer to the front and to the sides to keep eyes out. And then once you see the opening happen, everyone stops.
Are there any sounds coming from the clearing?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
I knew it! I knew I was gonna roll a 1! I knew I was gonna roll a 1!
You try to reach out and listen, but it's almost like there's a void in front of you. Not really. You could still hear sound through it. But besides listening to the forest nearby, and you know the dampening effect that, such thick and close together trees have, there's just this emptiness to that in the space in front of you, and it throws you way off. And as you try to focus in and listen, the noises from the surrounding forest is just too much. So if there is something coming from there, it's just too quiet for you to hear with everything going on.
Does anyone? Do we have a torch or anything?
I've got my fire chain.
I've got a lantern, but nobody wants to use that right now.
Yeah, Brand and Amric both have the things that Nori gave him.
No, only Amric has a thing.
Only Amric has the thing that Nori gave him. But even then, that only gives 60 feet, right? 30 bright, 30 dim.
Is it that much?
No, it's like
15,
20 and 20.
Okay.
And you said my sword doesn't give off any light, although it's fiery.
It's just the initial bringing it out that's fiery.
Right.
If it was freezing, I could do something, but no, it's not.
If we make it really cold, guys, I'm all over this.
If it's magic time, I can cast light on something.
It is magic time.
I'll pick up a pebble from the ground.
Okay.
And do we
want to
make...
announce our positions?
Yeah, do we want to announce ourselves?
I mean, I can give it to...
Can you creep forward and see what you can see? Or is it... Or
give it to my mage hand.
Does Rachel have dark vision?
No.
I have my hood lantern.
I'd go do something, but I'd shrug one.
I mean, I can go invisible if you want.
We all lose our legs.
Or your upper half, so I can choose.
Then there's only half less that we need to hide later. So
Oh, very true. I mean, if it's tall grass, then your legs are basically hidden, unless it's only your floating torsos.
It's not a horrible idea.
I will do a little spark into my hooded lantern and go stealth it off.
Alright, roll stealth. Okay. Where specifically do you want to go? You have about 50 feet until this empty area exists. And you said you had your lantern out?
I have like the hooded version, so it's more like a bullseye lantern right now than that I can flip off if I need to.
Okay. So where would you like to go?
He'd probably go about like 10, 20 feet into the trees and approach cautiously towards the opening.
Okay, where do you have the lantern pointed?
Currently towards the floor, and then like as I get more towards the opening, I'll sort of like peer out with it quickly before putting it back down and moving.
Okay. So Racham disappears. Norris tracked him. Still within your dark vision, so it's easy to see. Plus, he's got light at his feet, so it's very obvious for you guys where he's at. Like I said, there is no natural or unnatural light anywhere in this forest or in the void in front. So even that one speck of hooded lantern pointed at the ground is blaring. But he creeps forward towards the hole, and as he gets to the edge of the forest, turns the hooded lantern in a forward direction and doesn't see anything. As if shining the lantern into the cave on the island. Just, it goes its distance, but never makes contact with anything to have the light reflect off of. Shining a light into the sky.
So then this is a really large clearing then, for the most part.
Large enough. The hooded lantern, even though you're focusing it down into the thing, it's still just a lantern. So it only goes...
I think it's like 60 feet total.
Yeah. Which, even the town that you guys were at, there was 40 houses and a few merchants and everything, but, roads and whatnot. So it was definitely larger than 60 feet. But there's at least probably much more than 60 feet before anything is in front of you. Make a perception check for me. As you're trying to pan side to side, you're still not seeing anything, and you go to take a step out of the forest just to turn the hooded lantern a bit more to one of the sides. And as you do so, you aim the hooded lantern down to make sure you're not going to step on anything or whatnot. And you realize that about a foot past these last trees, there is a harsh cut in the ground and just a void of space down.
And like that extends
Past 60 feet.
Okay. Does it look like a natural carving, or is it just like
It's not a solid line. It is still very natural-esque.
it's not like Kember where it was literally like sliced in half or whatever?
Well, that was the inside of the town. This is the actual ground. Like, even the hole around Kemper seemed pretty naturally dug. Kember itself was cut in half. But that was something completely different. But as far as, like, a spell, making this void, a spell would, when it has its radius, makes a harsh line, like a very solid, straight line. This doesn't feel like that. It feels more natural than that. So, either dug out, or something else happened.
And looking down towards it, there's nothing beyond 60 feet or whatever as well.
Yeah, you see the side of the wall and some of the roots of the trees, but that's it.
Can I hear anything like running water, like this is a river cut Grand Canyon kind of thing?
Nope. Using your perception check, you don't hear anything extra coming from the hole.
I'll cut my light and head back towards the group then and report what I saw.
Okay. And you're back.
Yeah, it's like a really big empty space in front of us right now.
Just like a void?
I couldn't see the bottom, at least with what I had. I could maybe drop a torch down it, but that could be a problem too in its own sense.
It'd probably be better to wait until sun.
Is it? I don't know if this sounds weird. I don't know. Maybe I don't know because it's too dark, but where the woman lies, depending on what I see in the when we have some light, if this ravine looks like someone laying down or something, speaking into it. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm talking gibberish. Warren looks crazy. Warren's just being a little crazy.
Inverse
All
Moana.
these riddles are gibberish. What?
Inverse Moana. Bryn brought up the mountains looking like a woman, and Kaporan's like, whoa, maybe the opposite of a mountain.
Into the ground. Warren goes over like,
In face of this new mystery, maybe we should set up camp and we can take another look at it in the morning.
I didn't hear anything coming from it, so it's not like it's all that menacing. Like, it could be good to have something like that to our backs.
all right. I would say just not too far in, just so we don't end up walking into it. But
Yeah, it's like right past the tree line, the line, guys, so I wouldn't go past.
So I go a little bit away and set up camp?
probably just don't leave the tree line.
Camping on the road?
Huh?
Totally had a vision of all of you getting Spartan kicked into the hole.
So back up a little bit. 20 feet? 15, 20 feet?
Okay. Camping on the road or in the forest?
I feel like gravel would be uncomfortable to sleep on.
I have a fluffy.
Better than tree roots.
For the druid, that makes sense.
I vote on the forest.
Forest sounds nice. We can at least hide in there.
All right. Forest it is. Camp set. Fire, no fire?
Probably a fireless night because we don't know what's essentially around us.
And your kid has a fatherless life. Got it. So,
What?
you guys have relegated.
It's a little bit of a low blow there, buddy.
Hey, so far it's true.
At least with mine has the flock to deal with it.
As far as things go, you relegate sentry duty to the Amric. So, Amric, you get to make a perception check for all of the night.
Alright. When I set myself up for watch, I'm going to sit myself down with my back to a tree and kind of like try and cover myself with like a cloak or something and see if I can hide myself against the tree.
Make a
What are you
survival check.
doing? Rachel would help him if he is being weird about it.
If he wasn't going
I
to
know.
be weird about it, Rachal's not helping. But since he's being weird...
If I didn't say I'm facing north, by the way.
Okay. That would make the hole to your right. Gotcha.
You said make a survival or stealth?
Survival. You get pseudo advantage with Rachel helping because you're acting weird.
Should I make the other check or does Rachel want to?
No, you make it.
17.
You or guys are able to gather enough random material from the ground, as well as whatever else you may put together to help cover Amric. It works about 80% of his body. Those two spotlights of eyes make it difficult to hide, but if anyone was just walking past, they might not even notice that he's there. So everyone sleeps. All right. Everyone go and hit their long rests. Even with that perception check, everyone can hit their long rests.
Something is slowly gnawing on Kaporin again.
I just love the reaction of the people behind you.
Emmerich actually saw that, but he didn't feel like waking
Yeah.
you up for it.
That's all he's been watching the entire night. It's just this thing slowly devouring his leg. It's like, ah, yes, faster. He's gonna wake up soon. Faster. So, you all wake up. Oh, Emmerich, you finish your low power mode after 6 hours. And then a couple hours later, everyone wakes up. Emmerich's actually a little bit surprised by this, seeing as how it is still heavily dark outside. You all wake up, greeted with a long night's rest, and it's still being nighttime.
Is it kind of misty in the morning, or is it just
Nope,
normal? Okay.
it's normal. Too much
I will
fauna and trees for mist to really hang around here.
gather wood and create a small fire to make breakfast.
So is it nighttime as in nights are long, or is this nighttime as in there's some spooky bullshit?
You guys did go to bed pretty early. Like, you ended up walking for an extra hour, 5 p.m., and then you guys did like 5 minutes of investigating, and they're like, let's go to sleep. So
I don't know how long we're doing things.
I know. That's why I try to give you guys times as much as I can. I'd say even with pitter-pattering and having conversation around for maybe another hour, you still went to bed at 6:30.
Ooh, early bird gets the worm.
So it is still like 3 a.m. 3:30 if we're going to be a little conservative with things.
Jeez.
Now that everyone's up, Emmerich is going to spend some time to pray to Umbros and ask her to teach him some more about how to read divinations from constellations.
Roll a d100. You reach out and you get a sort of sense of how to explain it. Because if it was straight words, I'd be able just to say it, but you're sort of receiving not words or verbiage, you're receiving feelings. I guess the best feeling that you're receiving is a forehead hitting a palm, and then a shaking of a head. As you realize, I am a paladin of a twilight type of...
Did we just find out for the last like 2 sessions that I get my spells during night?
You get your spells during night. So when would you want to probably pray to your god?
I don't know.
Before night happens.
I'm confused.
And you'll probably get your visions while you're sleeping. During your defragging time. Or your BIOS updating.
Amber's just gonna go jump into the hole. I'll see you guys later.
I mean, we'll figure out how deep it is once you hit the bottom.
Does anyone know how fast he falls?
You just hear a distant
Doom.
Emmeric's perfectly fine. We blow a hole in the crust of the earth.
Come back out on Ixia. Hey, it's all better now.
God.
So yeah, you definitely get the understanding that if you're gonna ask for some help, it's probably best to do it when the sun's going down or when the sun's rising, because they are that's the god they are. But preferably before going to sleep is the best time to be doing it.
All right, I'll definitely cast out the sorry, I'm a dumbass feelings.
You definitely get the feeling it's all right. You're new. You don't know better.
So it's one pass. Don't do it again.
You know, it's like the new Amazon employees that don't realize that they need to use their card to get in and out of doors. They just follow in behind someone else, and then they just get lost in labor track. So, that's your realization. Breakfast is cooking and getting ready.
Nori would attempt to pray to Mithranim, just not even nothing in particular, just more of just I don't fully know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm very new at this. So if I'm doing something wrong, let me know. Thank you for your gifts. This is just all in her head. She's not saying this out loud.
She's definitely staring at it.
Yeah, she's looking down at the arm. She'll close her eyes. Yeah, thank you.
Just talking with her head.
Just closing my eyes, hands in my lap. I don't think I go that far.
Oh, don't tell Rachel. He'll find some googly eyes.
I think I have some in my bag. Hold on. Oh no, it's gone.
And I don't think she would open her mind to do anything like that because she's deathly afraid to do anything of that sort because the last time she did something like that, a forest was destroyed. So, she doesn't, but she sends that out and hopes she's doing it right, but she's probably not, and she knows it. But hopefully he understands and gets the sentiment, and I'm doing my best.
Go ahead and roll a D100.
You wanna build some shrines? Don't have to be
Not
shrines.
really, and I'm not expected to get anything.
And you don't.
For the best, I don't know what I'm doing.
So let's all talk to our god time.
Kaporan gets kicked into
Why
the
are you up at
hole.
3 a.m.?
You're on my arm, you know why.
Just Elena's response. You better be at a party.
Oh, you trying to talk to Illinade?
No. I was just saying if I did, that would be his response. At this freaking
Wait.
time, you better be there.
We're trying to teach her how to throw it back.
No, if you honestly, if you reached out to Illinade, it'd be less of "Why are you awake?" and more of like, "Sorry, speak louder. I can't hear you." That or that's all you hear back. That's his response. It's just.
And then I'd just be like, how did I get so lucky?
If you ever need just an internal rave to happen, just reach out to Illinade.
It's like the one prayer that's consistently answered. I need an internal rave.
Got you.
He's like,
I need help drowning Kaporan out.
oh, that I don't think you do it 24/7.
You don't know
Just
Illinade.
right now. And I'm sure he would.
It's just constantly running in the back of his head. Fuck it, we're all calling our parents gods.
You calling Daddy?
Just like
Oh no.
we've made progress. Some of us almost died again.
I'll do it.
Weird timey-wimey bullshit, probably.
That's what you're sending out?
Oh no. Well, if I be more exact, I'm just telling him that we got to this trial, we survived it, and then he'll probably go into more detail of what just happened the night prior. So he's just like,
roll a D100.
You're a warlock, not a cleric, right?
yeah, but I don't know.
But it's also his dad.
It's also my dad, so it's all like, I don't know how to talk to him. We've been estranged for how many years? When I'm not
Your whole life up until like 4 months ago.
sure.
My awkwardness is warranted. I've had a god for 2 days.
You don't get any response. Compared.
Good.
Yeah, Comparin's patron pact is a little bit different than other warlocks would be, since it is his father. And so I kind of set it up like either a successful or an unsuccessful sending spell.
I'm making phone calls.
Pretty much, and he's leaving voicemails, is basically what's happening.
I went from one dial tone god to another dial tone.
Except this one hurts more because it's just your dad ignoring you.
People are busy. He's got a new station in life. He's definitely busy.
Oh yeah, he did get promoted, so
Yep. Expect more hours in the office.
You got him a massive promotion.
So, beyond breakfast getting prepared and eaten, anything else for this morning?
So is it just the hole?
No one's really investigated it too much besides Rachel.
We can't see
Can I-
it.
Can
Yeah,
I go
we're-
look at it?
I would actually take one of the sticks from the small fire that Polly set and throw it down the hole.
Okay. Polly, how big are you making your fire? Just enough to
Not
charm.
that big.
It
Just enough that it like It warms up, and then I heat everything over the coals.
Okay. All right. So there's not much of a fire. It's not much of a torch for Cho.
I mean, you can get a branch and light a fire from it.
I can also cast light on something and we can throw it down.
I reach into the bag and hold out a torch.
Or we can do that.
There's like 40 of them.
Well, the problem with the torch is it's actually pretty large, and I don't exactly want a large light.
Snap it in half.
I can do it on a piece of gravel.
Is the
It
light
still have the same
cantrip
effect.
super powered? Yeah.
Yeah, we can stoke the fire a little bit. Light you up a twig or whatever. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, just something like a kindling stick, almost even.
Yeah. And as far as breaking a torch in half compared, it doesn't work like that. Think of a torch as a stick that has a wrapping of cloth on the end dipped in oil. So you can't really cut that in half. Or, I mean, you could definitely try, but once you light that torch on fire, you're going to be on fire because you just handled a bunch of oil. So, Emmerich might allow this to happen.
Yeah, I like this idea.
No, Compared, you got to break it down all the way down.
We're
Sure.
trying to keep a low profile, aren't we?
You have a Kaporan, that means only so successful that you're going to be at that.
More just filled bullies and it just disappears. And
Any
everyone
little bit
dies.
helps.
All right, so stoke the fire a little bit. Get a smaller stick. It sheds 5 foot 2.5 bright, 2.5 dim. You
Yeah,
go over and eat it.
Just sort of, yeah, and don't like throw it out into the middle of the thing, but like toss it down so that it's like 5 feet out from the cliff.
Okay. You toss it down. It starts to go, and then snuffs. Snuffs out about 20 feet down. Which makes sense. Large holes, updrafts. But you at least definitely have registered that this is a hole. It's not like illusionary terrain.
Just like in the
I
middle of
guess
the night.
at that point we might need something from Emmerich.
He didn't take
Yeah,
that
it's-
oath, but he'll throw it back. And technically everything he does is called the robot, so...
It's the
Yeah.
it's a weird way to cast the light spell, but okay.
You gotta put
Hey,
the...
you
Gotta put the
do
gravel
things
between
our
the
way.
butt cheeks
I'll
and
do
work.
it fine.
Alright, so what are you grabbing, Emmerich?
I guess I'll grab a piece of. I'll either grab a stick or a piece of gravel, whichever closest,
Gravel it is.
and cast light on it.
Okay. Lights cast. Poof.
All right, are we all in agreement? Throwing this down the hole.
He's currently holding
Yeah.
it. He's not shining it on everybody. He's
Yeah,
got
I've
his
got
hand
it.
over it. He's not an asshole like, someone who catches a
Oh,
flashlight.
oh.
Hey, how you doing?
I'll raise my pinky so it's getting just support. No.
He lights it right in front of me. I was just like, "Oh, what you doing?" Like,
Point's blinded.
He's
for the
like
next
holding
minute.
it, and then right when about to throw it, just blinds Kaparin.
Tracks. They are brothers.
We all in agreement.
I'm fine with it.
Sure.
All right.
How far are you trying to throw it?
I don't want it to get caught on any ledges if it's not even all the way down. So let's say 20 feet away from the edge.
I will say that the dark vision people have moved up a little bit, and their dark vision still has not made contact with anything.
Yeah, I'll say 20 feet from the edge.
Okay, so just a simple toss. No need for an athletics check then. Nothing too crazy. So Emmerich walks to the edge and just kind of open palm throws the little piece of gravel. Nora, you noticed this just before Emmerich threw it. As he's in the wind-up to throw it, that a couple other pieces of gravel are moving on their own volition behind him. And as he throws and lets it go, almost like a flashlight or not a strobe light, but a spotlight, this little gravel has become. It is not an overarching buoyancy of lights in, what is it, 30 and 30?
Yeah.
It has now become this spotlight of a 10-foot cylinder that shoots for about 120 feet. But as he does that, 5 more little gravel have also, like attached by a string, have followed the same arc and have all become these spotlights, making it the most interesting rave summoned out of nowhere, and definitely oh my god, what the fuck just happened type of
Seizure warning.
Yes, very much so, as the situation, as these gravel pieces just fly, but they all go in different directions. So it's jarring because of how dark it's been. And then all of a sudden this. But he's thrown it far enough, there's enough of them all pointing in different directions. It's definitely less of trying to focus on each beam of light, and very much just sort of letting it, you looking in a direction and letting it light as it does. He gets it about the 25 feet mark into the hole as it starts to travel downwards. It gets about 100 feet down before it comes to a stop. Now, unfortunately, with these being more spotlighty things, some of them are obscured as their spotlight is pointed directly into the ground or against something that has completely blocked off the light. But a few of them are, I'd say, 2 get blocked and 4 don't. And they're all pointing, some against the wall, some against things that are down here. What you guys are looking at seems to be a massive sinkhole that has swallowed this town. Remnants of wood and buildings still exists in semi-fashion. Though you can't, it's still nighttime, so you can't 100% see what state of degradation these things are in. You can see chunks of wood, you can see stonework and paved stonework. You can see that this hole is, though naturally hewn, isn't perfectly cylinder. It seems to be a little bit more like an oval, and it extends a decently far away, even reaching the excess of one of the strobe lights. You see skeletons down here. It seems that whatever happened here, it was sudden, and people did not make it completely out. Altogether, like I said, it's more of an oval than it is a circle. At the widest length, you're looking at probably somewhere around the 250 to 300 foot range. And at the shortest range, you're looking at somewhere around 100 feet. Maybe 120.
What's with all the horribly tragic towns? I've seen enough skeletons in the last, 3 days than I have in my entire life.
I was just told to come here. I'm sorry. Holly, we got more heads for you to talk to. Yes.
We should keep moving.
But where? It's also 4 in the morning.
I don't know what else to do. We're just standing at a death hole. There was a destroyed town over there. We saw we've seen six people thus far. There's weird, I don't know.
Wait, shapes, oval.
Technically, everything is a shape, Kaparin.
Mm.
I am a shape. You're a shape. Everyone's a shape. Just because this is an oval doesn't necessarily mean.
Don't be shapist.
Sometimes the curtains are just blue. I don't know.
Well, we can't explore this area until it's brighter.
You want to explore a sinkhole?
This person who's been hiding all these things, I've been using what's been around so far. If this sinkhole has been here for quite a while, or for at least the last 2 weeks,
Considering there's full-on skeletons there.
Been a lot longer than that.
and he's obviously not so unaccustomed to dealing with skeletons, so I wouldn't put it past him. They don't seem to have any mind desecrating graves.
Is it like a far distance of down before it from the shearing? Like if you were to rappel, could you get down there quickly or no?
Anyone else in the group? Probably not. Rachaw's stupid speed? Probably. 1 turn, maybe?
I mean, Amric jumping off the cliff would be at Rachaw speed.
Have to.
I think Amric would have a hard time repelling anywhere.
You guys need to get some wire rope.
The issue is not getting down there; it's getting back up.
Maybe spider climb will help. Hey, we can get everyone else out of the hole. I can stay down with you, and I can turn us both into spiders.
Feels traumatic for some reason.
No, Amric would be hard to control, and control is the wrong word. Persuade as a spider.
Turn to Black Widows. Fine. Well, we can't do anything in the dark so far. Up to you, Amric, if you want to leave these lights on, but we at least have to wait until the sun rises, I guess.
I'll dispel the lights.
All right.
Did we want me to chopper spotlight?
That's
You
right,
can-
you can just fucking fly.
If you want to do a path for Chaw, I'd have no reason.
You just have to do the noises.
Can I do it with my bike wheel with a card in it?
I mean, you can, but it's definitely not as good as the actual mimic
I guess I
sound
could
that you
just
have.
yeah,
from
I
Seattle.
haven't.
So,
Uh,
Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, with like with however 10-15 minutes of the thing, I'll just go with my bullseye and sort of like take a spotlight, sweeping a little bit,
Okay.
fairly high up, but like obviously within, I don't know, 60 to 80 feet over the ground, just so that I can be seeing the ground still.
Okay. So, are you trying to stay above ground level or above debris level?
I want to be able to like see the ground with my spotlight kind of thing. So whatever distance above that ground would be,
Okay.
like going down into the holes, reasonable in that sense.
Okay. So you're trying to look at the debris rather than the floor of where everyone else is standing.
Did everybody else go down into the hole a little bit? Or?
No. Everyone else is still... No one's gone down into it yet. I'm just trying to figure out what are you trying to spotlight. Because your hooded lantern only goes 60 feet. So, you being the way it was sounding is that you want to be like 60 feet above everyone else over the hole, spotlighting down, but your hooded lantern doesn't do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't sound like it would find anything that way.
Yeah, so I was trying to, and you guys have registered that the hole is about 120 feet until you get to the debris. So that's why I was like, where do you really want to be?
Yeah, so he'd probably go down roughly 60 feet then.
Okay.
And very carefully,
Jaw,
of
if you get a
course.
chance, bring me a skull. With a jaw.
So Rachel will have that internal struggle as he starts to go down.
It's like, I'll do my best, I guess.
So you go down and you start giving a police chopper for KTLA 5. As you start circling the debris inside the hole. Go ahead and give me a perception check. There's not a plethora of skeletons on top. We're talking 2, maybe 3. And most are in destroyed conditions. So unfortunately, no skull with a working jaw is easily identifiable right away. But you get to sort of pass over all the debris in here, and it looks like this settlement was smaller than the town you guys had just come from. Not by too much. Whereas the other town had about between 30 and 40 houses, this one had maybe 20 to 25. With a couple merchant shops as well, but nothing as tall or big and well constructed as the inn that you had seen. At least no remnants of it. Beyond the couple skeletons that you see and broken debris of housing and shops, a bunch of rubble of stone, earth, and dirt. There's also a decent layer of sort of the same moss and vine growth coming down the opposite side of this hole, where it's a little shallower, has started to creep into this hole as well. But other than that, there's nothing else.
Am I able to see like where the hole is continuing to sink, or is it like plugged up at this point?
No clue. There doesn't seem to be any moisture to any of this. So, as far as nature-wise goes, you're not sure what type of sinkhole this was. Was this just a crust sinkhole? Was this an underground water reservoir sinkhole, or a moving aquifer type of sinkhole? You can't tell. There's no liquid to this here, so it's either a crust sinkhole or the water's further down.
Does it? How wide is it? Like, is there another road on the other side, kind of thing?
There is no road to the east, no road to the south, but one road to the north.
So like doing a circle around the hole, that does anything look like northbound? Does anything stick out to me that way? Like, because my first thought going back to the riddle is that we could be where the forest cries right now, but I don't know how that would pertain to a sinkhole exactly. But then northbound would be the next thing, so I guess, am I seeing anything northbound?
On the road, giving it a little bit of a gander. Nothing specifically screaming out to you as, ooh, this is different, this is new, go this way. It is, again, just a gravel road with already some growth happening between the gravel and over the top of it. Sort of the same type of road that you came in on.
All right, he'll take his time, or he'll get back to the group and report all that.
Alright. Relays everything that he saw.
Thank you, Richon News. Back to you.
Now to sports.
He
Hammer
has
gets punching
coconut.
skulls.
He all of a sudden has coconut earmuffs on. It's like, where the hell did the second one come from?
Now to Amric with sports. Oh, and the punted skull. Got it.
Score. The sport went. The sport went.
And Nori Weathers. And Bryn.
What? I use Druidcraft and predict the weather for tomorrow. Just a thing Druidcraft can do.
It is. It's very
Yeah.
strange.
Well, they got a weather capability thing.
Same
Well-
the same.
I would say that if we want to investigate more, if this might be a part of the riddle, we at least have to wait. If we want to investigate the fallen debris,
Well, like, so could this be something where like the forest is crying because Nori maybe talk to plants? Is everything screaming in pain?
Don't have the spell stuck.
Bella,
We just woke up.
Can I stock my stuff? Can I stock different stuff now?
After your long rest, right?
Bella, are these trees French?
I'm not talking to him.
So they're French? I didn't know the other ones were French. I'm sorry, Bella.
This is a different French dialect.
It's alright. You're a mountain druid, you're not a forest druid.
Yeah.
You get one.
Have we
Why
seen
did that
any
sound so
animals?
condescending?
It's 3 a.m.
Animals are smart enough to still be asleep.
It's 3 a.m. and I'm dealing with Kaparin. Everything's gonna sound condescending.
The plants are gonna be asleep too, and they will not be thrilled that I'm talking to them. And I think I might make enemies.
Have we seen any animals since we got on this one?
Yeah. Small animals. Sort of the same that you saw from the other island.
Is it like a eye or whatever those nocturnal things are around?
With like the creepy giant long middle fingers.
Not too many nocturnal creatures in this
My
world.
favorite lemur.
Lorises or something. Yeah.
Aren't the lorises like venomous?
Nori, make a... You one of two things. You can either make a high DC perception check or a lowered DC nature check.
Let's pick a nature check. Watch me. I got a feeling it's not gonna be a good one.
It's a new day. I'll make you reroll.
I'm a druid too. Can I do my own?
It's a
Nope.
9. Chaw's nature is better than mine.
Sure, Rachaw.
Can I guidance myself? Get myself up to a 10? No. Rachel's better at nature than I am.
You're the nature girl.
It's one of my proficiencies, so I have a minimum of 21.
He has expertise in it.
Yeah. That's my scout ring. My scout rogue gave me expertise in it.
Besides Rachaw, there is one nocturnal bird. And now that you're thinking about it and looking for animals nearby, it's hard because Rachaw doesn't have dark vision. But so the bird got close enough for it to... It was curious of the fire and what was going on with you guys, and is currently sort of staring up at there we go. Staring up and above the fire, where some insects have started to gather, and it's looking to possibly do some hunting. Once you guys move far enough away. But it's this little guy. Oops, I almost just set that to.
I love these things. They're so cute. I forget what they're called, but I love them. They look like little dragons.
Yep, the gray-eared nightjar.
It looks like a.
They
It looks
make
like a.
the worst screaming noises in the world.
Yep.
It looks like a cookie melted on its head.
Like look up the sounds this creature makes. It's disturbing.
Would it be considered crying almost?
It's like it's a horrible screech.
Cha will cast Speak with Animals and go like floating up to him. Non-threateningly, and just be like, "Hey, how's it going?"
This is going to be either funny or tragic.
It's gonna hurt.
Okay, so, Rachel goes up, sort of floats next to him, and then you get to hear the noise that this creature creates. People are sleeping, so I'm not going to recreate the noise. But you guys are just like, oh, he's gonna go talk to him. Awesome. Everyone's still kind of keeping it quiet, and then just all of a sudden this, oh, Jesus Christ. And it's coming from a Racha rather than an actual tiny one of these little birds. So it is amplified to a degree that even the Nightjar is like,
No need to yell, bro.
yeah, like chill, inside voice, come on. But what would you like to say to it?
Good evening. Are you available for a chat real quick?
It reacts to this absolute screeching match that you have instigated. And it responds in a much lower tone than Racha's, but still highly frightening if you were to hear it in the middle of the night. It responds with a... What, mate? It's nighttime, not evening.
Oh, improper dialect on my end. I'm sorry, but I'm still getting used to this voice, and this is kind of new too, with the whole mouth changing thing that happens with Speak with Animals.
Yep. Yeah, Racha's mouth is making the same mouth that creature has right now. No problem. Here for a chat, as long as you got some food.
Yeah, I could help out with that for sure, but I was just wondering, kind of getting the lay of the land of the area. Do you see anything that's like weird on a day-to-day basis, or like that doesn't normally happen, kind of thing?
Well, I mean, talking about things that don't normally happen, it's these larger birds like you coming up to me and changing their mouths and talking to me like this. That's pretty new. But, I mean, if you really want some information, a little scritch for scratch, if you understand.
Yeah, for sure. What sort of things do you normally eat, or do you care?
If it's living and it's buzzing, I like it.
I like it like that.
I can hear the wings of a pretty large insect nearby, I just can't see it.
Yeah, that's probably an invisible thing that we have in our group that I unfortunately can't give to you, but...
Oh, seems like you're holding out on me.
Not really, it's more of a... she's a friend.
Ah, Triagas. I understand.
More often than not, yeah, am I right?
Yeah, I just sit on them and shit.
You're a druid too.
is the best kind.
Hence why he agreed.
I could help try and grab those things you're looking at, though. Maybe. I'm not entirely
Yeah, if you
sure
don't mind
what you're
bringing them
looking
over.
at. He'll do his best.
Say-
Sleight of hand to catch these things.
Saves me a flight. All right, go ahead and give me some. Give me one sleight of hand and one acrobatics. Very good. You swing out and are able to grab pretty much a full handful of these things, obviously captured between two. Bring them over and kind of like just open a tiny gap in your hands, and his little mouth just goes. All right, that's a full belly.
All in a night's work, as usual. We gotta stick together, you know.
On a sound sentiment, but can't be friends with no insect wings.
That's fair, yeah.
But,
Anyways,
as far as anything new going around, just you all.
do you know how long you've really been here, more or less? Like how many times the sun's gone by?
Well, I mean, I've been here all my life, but as far back as I can remember, which would be about, I don't know, can't count that high.
That's fair. That's a good enough answer for me. Have you ever seen any elves come through? We ran into some. And
Oh, I see elves all the time.
do they do
Those
anything, or do they go
pointy
away?
head bastards, right?
Yeah, kind of like those two down there, but with even longer ears.
Well, those ones just don't disappear like the other elves do. Or do they?
They do. No, that one might. He points at he points at compared, but that's
Compared, you just
that's
look
on his
over to
own.
a child going, pointing at you.
Do something wrong?
Do they normally what do they normally do? Does it happen every day in the same way every time, kind of thing, or what?
Nah,
What's with that?
I don't know. It's just how they are. Just like your mouth changes when you start to speak to me.
Gotcha.
No, never known them any other way.
Do they just appear as well, or do they just only disappear?
Well, obviously you got to appear to disappear.
Yeah, I figured it was just one of those maybe they don't show up, or they're just all of a sudden there, you know?
No. Here's a
Anyway.
bird.
Yeah, for sure. So we're here looking for some stuff, particularly bodies, or a particular body, other way around. But
That's awfully morbid.
yeah, I don't understand it entirely myself, but that's what we're here for. We keep getting these stories told to us about this thing, and right now we're looking for a place where a woman lies. Do you have any idea where that might be?
I don't even know the sentence you just said. What is lies?
Well, it could be one of two things, like the place where she rests for
What's a
for a
woman?
night. Woman's like that, and he points down at Nori.
So elves?
Yeah, but a particular kind of elf. You see how her chest extends out, and then
You've got to get the anatomy of all right, so. As you,
Explain
can,
a woman to a bird.
as you can see, my dwarven friend here.
but then as opposed to the other elf, the taller one, that
Mm.
he doesn't have his chest extending out.
It's like, oh, I thought they're the same thing. Long hair and everything.
Well, forgive me for this, but do you mind if I check you to see if you're a woman or a man?
Hey! I don't even know what that means, but I feel slightly disturbed.
I'm gonna be looking at some weird spots on you if I do.
Let's just say I'm the father of my children.
You love this bird.
That's fair. Like, so do eggs excrete from you?
No.
All right, so then you are the guy.
Oh, you mean male?
Yeah, male.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know
There
that.
we go. That works. Females are women.
Oh, you should have just said that. Never knew.
I don't know. I kind of like the way I did.
Females.
I don't think anyone else did.
All right. So what was the question to begin with?
We're looking for where a female
A woman lies, right.
goes to bed.
So a woman is pointy ear with a chest that extends and she excretes eggs. All right?
Exactly. That's basically what they are.
All right then. Have I seen a place where female, you said it, the elves, with hair, chest, and excretes eggs lies somewhere, and you said something about 2 different lies?
They don't necessarily all have to be excreting eggs at the time, but
Well, I mean, it's a good thing for to point out the difference.
But
I can tell you this: never seen one of these elves excrete eggs, so maybe they're all men.
That's fair. I've not seen that either, to be
But
honest.
I'm definitely going to be looking.
Yeah.
Is there a specific time of day that they do the excretion?
I don't want to have to fucking tell Raja how human or humanoid babies are made, my dude. Do you guys lay eggs? I just imagine after this fucking
No.
floats on down. How do you guys give birth?
No. It's just he's not going to bring it up. It's just going to be a random day where like Nori or Bryn just stays in bed all day, and Rachal's just going to put 2 and 2 together. She's on the egg.
I was gonna cast Speak with Animals because I wanted to hear the conversation. I'm so glad I didn't.
He's gonna invade their space one day and look under the sheets for the egg.
Like, yeah. Like, say Bryn stays in a hotel room for like 2 days straight, just doesn't want to deal with all the shit going on. But then on the 3rd day, she gets up and both her and Nori both go out to like have dinner or something. Rachal's just gonna be like, "But the egg!" And he's just gonna run into their room searching for. Did they take it with him? I don't understand.
We're gonna have to sit him down and be like, "We don't lay eggs.
We have to sit
It's
down
a
and
bird thing and a lizard thing. Reptile."
Well, so the other way somebody lies is they're being deceitful. They don't tell you the truth. That sort of thing.
What's the truth?
Being honest and like forthright with your statements. Be like what actually happens. So like, I went and got those insects for you. That's the truth. Whereas like, I went and got you a bunch of rocks. That's a lie.
You can do that?
No, you introduced the bird to lying.
I am capable of
The entire
doing that.
Nightjar society is going to collapse now as you have taught this bird how to lie.
They're
He's just gonna become
absolute menaces.
There's a
like-
movie about this.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a
Oh,
movie. He's just gonna become the god or whatever.
Listen here to my people. I do not need to tell you the truth. What's the truth?
You are an elf. Oh. Wow.
Exactly. Right. So Have you
It's
have you
literally
noticed?
that moment where he stares off and the numbers and the trigonometry flash past him, and then it goes to the other meme where the mind's expanding and all the different.
You taught this adorable little nightjar to lie.
And
So have
just
you noticed like any of these elves saying something that was just like not actually what was happening?
Oh, I don't understand a fucking word they say.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Do you
We're still
understand?
stuck on the like puff chest because male birds are the ones that puff their chest out, and female birds lay the eggs. So this bird is fucked up in the head right now.
No, he just thinks that the females do the dancing for a courtship and lay the eggs. So, definitely if they see any of Illinate's followers, mostly Valkyrie, throwing it back, it's gonna all make sense.
And there I was glad I did not take that.
You're gonna get it someday, somehow.
next time we do anything timey-wimey, we just come back and like, oh yeah, Vern, you got 12 levels in the Paladin.
So yeah, I don't understand any fucking thing they say. I mean, I understand every word they say. I'm getting good
Great,
at
you'd
it.
be able to you'd be able to tell me what they said then.
He just stops and stares from it. They said the ocean is green. Yeah, that's what they said.
Interesting. Unfortunately,
Bird is gonna
that
go cheat on his
doesn't-
bird wife. He's gonna become an absolute menace to society.
unfortunately that doesn't really help me with what I'm looking for, I guess.
Well, I mean,
but thank you for that.
Can't be at every conversation.
Yeah, for sure. The next part of the thing we're following is talking about like where the forest cries. Besides us talking right now, are there like cries going around?
Yes. It's a type of iguana.
I love how Rashad is interrogating the unreliable narrator that he created.
You taught him lying way too early in the questioning.
That's fair.
It's very obvious right now when he's
Yeah.
lying.
Exactly. He's trying to both encourage him and also steer him in the correct direction. But he's like, okay, so these iguanas then,
Iguanas.
are they making like loud noises?
Oh yeah, those fuckers are loud.
Where would we look for those sorts of things?
You would look for them in the water. Yeah, that's right.
Great, because that's actually the other part of the thing.
Oh,
Where's
see, we're all going right on into it then.
exactly? So the other way that I'm thinking a forest might be crying is like if there's some hidden away waterfalls. Is there a place where like nearby that like rivers run and then all of a sudden just drop off of the cliff edge?
Yeah, there is. The cliff edge is towards the large rocks on the left.
Do I believe him?
No. It's like inciting a 3-year-old.
Where did you hide the candy?
That's great.
Nowhere.
That's great, but I can see I have a really good knack for when somebody is lying, and so
You fucking what, mate?
I need the
Call me a
truth.
liar? I'm not no woman. I
Men
don't
can
l-
lie too. I apologize. I didn't get that. I didn't set that straight with you, but I'm really needing the truth right now. Unfortunately,
I just have been barely introduced to all this, and I have to say, I feel quite offended.
I understand. I'm the same way. These people down there, they can never tell when I'm lying, so I'm very used to not being called out on my lies as well. So I would be the same way as you, but it's really important to be honest sometimes too.
We don't catch on to your lies, or we just don't kind of care about your
I
lies.
don't. First off, I don't see where I'm lying, and second off, I don't see why you would ever need to be honest about anything now.
Well, because when you lie about things, they end up creating problems for everybody.
Yeah, for everybody else.
But then nobody's going to want to interact with you once they just think everything you say is a liar. There's an old parable out there that's like,
What's
if
a
you
parable?
a parable's like a story that's supposed to teach you a lesson. And
Oh, so a boring story. Got it.
yeah, it's a boring story about a boy who just keeps saying like, a dire wolf's gonna eat me, and then it never actually happens.
Direwolf flies away.
And then
He's gotten the concept of
I was lying.
he got the
He's
concept of
really-
lying, but he hasn't gotten the concept of hearing lies. So
Yeah,
you just
that-
freaked him the fuck out as he just fucking
I just
bolts.
like
You
yelled
are
as he's
wreaking
flying.
havoc on the Nightjar Society. We gotta take out that bird. He's gonna ruin everyone else.
as he flies out. I'm like, no, I was lying.
Kapora's just like, ready? What?
Kaporan would not try doing.
No, he would not. He wouldn't try to shoot a bird right after Rachel just had a
Are
conversation.
you getting
with
good information,
Right after
Rachel?
boosted magic.
He'll fly down to the group. He's like, yeah, so he didn't really help me out too much. He more or less like
Why did you keep
I mean,
looking
he
at
said-
me and Nori?
he said that the
Yeah.
elves do appear very frequently, like on a day-to-day basis, and they disappear just as often as they appear. So, but he couldn't tell me exactly what they said because he doesn't speak Elvish.
I think they primarily are speaking Sylvan or Common, based on the fact that they've spoken Common thus far.
I think it's a bird, and then the bird doesn't understand.
Yeah.
But he didn't know exactly where a woman lies, or what he did say, and I feel like it might have been a lie itself. But he did say that there could potentially be a waterfall between two rocks over the way.
I didn't know
The
birds
bird could have
lie.
been lying, and you're going to listen to that?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably a lie. I didn't roll for it or anything.
Don't think you needed
What?
to.
What makes you think the bird was lying to you, Rachel?
Birds, I guess parrots will lie sometimes, but I don't know. I haven't met a ton of birds who do.
Richard like takes it back. It's like, we almost never lie. What are you talking about?
I really want to insight check, but I think I know in my heart that is a lie. I won't.
It's
To
just-
be fair, this
just
this
mimicking-
bird did not understand what a lie was, so I explained it to him, and then he just really
You
started.
explained the bird how to lie.
You taught the bird.
You know what you've done.
Wait till you get to speak with plants.
Eventually, yeah.
Trees
Get to
will
be
lie.
a level 5 druid.
You just started the next bird people. The next ones that will be intelligent.
Pillar Fight 2.0.
Oh no. They're so cute though. I'd be on board with those even if they're awful liars.
That bird's gonna become like that society's gonna thrive, and they're gonna evolve now that they can lie.
And you're gonna teach the trees how to lie, and then they're gonna start producing like poisonous
Oh no,
fruits or
trees
something.
can lie. Trees can lie right to your face. Usually depends on how old they are. Younger trees usually don't.
Anyways, yeah, he didn't really help me all that well, to be fair. But I feel like we're on the right way.
Okay. So shall we wait until
I
that sun?
really hope that he wasn't that tempting Tome. I never got his name. If his name was Tome, I'm really fucked.
You didn't read him though.
Oh, he read him.
We're also like, I can tell you're lying. That's real.
Yeah, insight's a form of reading.
Plants and animals are really bad at lying because they don't really have to. Lying doesn't really get you much; just kind of gets you fucked over. A lot of parasitic plants will lie.
Yeah, see, I tried to explain that to him, but he flew off before I could get through my story about the dire wolf because I told him there was a dire wolf and he thought that I was truthful.
Oh, does that mean there are dire wolves in this forest?
No, I was trying to go with the parable about the kid trying to eat.
I'm aware of the
But
parable.
why does he know what a dire wolf is?
That was my concern there.
I mean, he might not be from this island either. He could be from like the Island of Giants island.
I know I wasn't listening to the conversation, but the bird did say I've lived here my whole life.
He could refer to like the entire island chain too.
I don't feel like we can trust that bird, Richard. Unfortunately, unlike you.
Especially because you
trust-
taught him to lie.
But we should just wait until the sun is all the way up and investigate this sinkhole maybe a little.
Didn't seem like there was really anything down there, but
Yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
interested in the disappearing elves. Or whatever the hell this riddle means.
Ollie, any godly insight on that?
No, this all sounds really stupid to me, honestly.
oh, wait until you hear my. Never mind. I won't tell you in front of them. Any points it's pretty annoying.
What?
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
I'm gonna worry about it. It's me.
I'm pretty sure he's lying.
Oh, that's one more thing on the list then.
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
Is the problem.
He just started a new branch of evolution.
Hey, when we eventually finish this campaign and start the next one, Night Showers might be on the table as a character.
Yes.
Instead of having the curse of memory, they just have the curse of lies.
Yeah.
Nothing they say is the truth. They can only speak in lies.
It's like the
It'd
one
be
guard
an
to the
absolute
two.
nightmare.
One only speaks in truth,
Yeah.
one only speaks in lies.
But
Now
yeah,
make it
also
something.
As a nightjar, you're one of two things. You either can only tell the truth or you can only lie.
And you have to figure out which one you are.
Yep. And it'll always be whatever your father wasn't.
And you believe yourself regardless of whether you're true or lies.
Oh, if it's what your father wasn't, then all his children will be truthful.
I went for milk and I never came back.
Are you writing this down?
I don't need to. It's photographic memory for you.
So what are we doing today?
Well, it's
love
still night, and I think the only thing that's been put forth so far is wait till daytime.
Love to hear what Rich said about us. And she's like
I would
staring him
too.
down.
How many hours till sunrise? About.
Probably somewhere between 2.5, 3.
Okay, I'd like to work on my mental version of whatever I'm supposed to be doing.
All right. Wisdom check.
I will also work on my stuff.
Okay.
After trying to get Richard to tell us whatever he was gonna tell Polly, yeah, I'll also work on my thing.
Dexterity check, Amric.
Look, okay, so I don't particularly understand humanoid women, but I tried to explain humanoid women to him, and he seemed to get the grasp of concept. And so that's all you really need to worry about.
Sorry,
I don't
Icon.
believe you.
Another success, Nori.
Look, I taught him lies after I taught him women, so he knows all the truth of that.
What
What?
truth did you tell him?
Nori, you're not involved with this. You're doing your thing.
Damn it.
Mostly like the simple stuff, like that you have a chest, and like it extends out further than most men, and then you tend to have longer hair, and every once in a while, you excrete out an egg that you then sit on.
She's just gonna start.
And this is where, Nori, I need you to make a con
Say
save.
that.
This is exactly why I failed my wisdom check.
Yeah, this is all happening. This is why Amric failed. This is why Polly
Got a
failed.
15?
Nori is in the middle of doing her thing, and then she's about to break off and fail. But Nori goes, "What the fuck?" And Bryn goes, "What the fuck?" And Nori's like, "Okay, she's got this." But
I don't need to worry about it.
it's definitely
Wife's
in
got
the
it taken care of.
front of your brain right now. Trying to move it away just to work on this.
Is that where they come from?
Yeah, so like an egg comes out, and then for a little while they'll sit on top of it, make sure that it's safe, and eventually a little child like pokes through the shell and comes out, and everything's all good.
That's how it. That's how.
Parents' mom never give them the talk. What the fuck?
Okay.
She's busy doing the talk.
Shaw, you were on it, and then you just missed the mark.
Well, it makes sense.
Since
'cause
everything's
he's-
all screwed up anyway, Racha, here's the deal. I did go that far in school, and technically, women do lay eggs. They just keep them inside, and the babies hatch from the eggs and stay inside until they're big enough, and then they come out. They don't actually sit on the egg; they just hold it in their stomach for a while.
Lorelai was in an egg, and then, ow!
That
And then
seems
the egg
awfully
cracks
painful.
apart?
Yeah, that seems awfully painful to
Yeah,
have
well-
a hard ass egg inside your abdomen.
Well, yeah, nobody said it was hard.
He's
The egg
fighting.
stays soft.
But how do you protect the?
Nori, make another con
It's in
save.
a woman's stomach.
Don't
It's not
take
going
this away
anywhere.
from me. I already marked it down that it was a success, damn it.
Just the
You're
last
an
one.
+4.
It's not as high because you've already made one.
Fuck you.
I'll say it's a half
Could you
success.
cross that out now?
Half
Come
success. Half success.
on. Ugh.
You'll need to keep working on it. But you're halfway for this success.
Yeah, no, Racha, we don't lay eggs.
No, we don't.
No, do they?
No.
What?
Oh, Perrin, you are literally a
Happy
father.
Father.
You
Yeah,
act
but
like
it's
I
not like he
remember
was
anything
there
from
when
that
she was
night.
having the kid.
Definitely wasn't there.
Definitely don't remember the night.
No. Rashad, humanoid women, no eggs. That's a bird and reptile thing.
Well, if you want to get
Different-
technical,
no
Dragonborn
farming
lay
eggs.
eggs. I'm putting it out there. Dragonborn lay eggs.
Technically
I did
fall
that
under
once.
the reptile category.
So do lizardmen.
Humanoid. Don't tell them that.
That begs the question, actually.
So do
and
Philippites in Kenku.
Rachal's gonna like pull out his corset and put on his corset. He's just gonna be like, I wonder if I lay eggs.
Uh,
What?
He puffed out his chest. He put the corset
But-
on, which is for women, and then
I call it my awuga corset because it's magically turns me into a female anatomy.
yep. Which is very weird
You
to see out of
just
Kenku.
might.
No.
No. What?
Is that what that does?
Richard, you're a woman now?
Only while I'm wearing this thing, but yeah.
Same
Wow.
voice.
Corset of trans your gender.
And you guys actually touch, and it's not an illusion. It's actually all physically changed.
Oh god. Warren's horrified right now.
I can't blame you for not knowing these things, because you don't need to know them, but we do not lay eggs.
It's the only thing Nori's stuck on.
I'm glad
And
to know
you.
that you guys don't.
Yeah, I'm glad that you were taught that just now. How old are you?
I didn't have to really deal with it before.
It's never too late to learn something new.
I think I'm 25, right? Am I 25?
Go ahead and make another dex check, Nori.
I'm 37.
I'm just disappointed.
Fucking 6.
That was the same. Dex check. There you go.
16.
You finished the other half.
Hooray!
Yeah, so I'm good with either looking at this pit in the light or there was no other
Why
pathway.
are we focusing on the pit?
I'm not entirely sure. So, well, yeah, with the riddle in mind, if this is the idea of the forest crying because it was destroyed, we probably shouldn't investigate it because then we're tempting the tome or finding the tempting tome, and we don't want the tempting tome.
We just don't want to read it.
That's fair.
And if it's tempting, it
Then
might be
Kapoor will
cursed.
probably read it.
Don't read it. You can only read the books you have on you now.
None. Got it.
And then there's only one pathway out of this town besides the one that we're on now, and it's to the north.
You know, out of character, it's like if we take some just roundabout way of finding this fucking end of the riddle, I would be so surprised, but at the same time, flabbergasted.
No.
I have like so far mentally checked out of everything that's happening right now. I'm gonna be useless. I'm so sorry. I'm gone. I'm tired.
Yep. Just waiting for a solid concrete decision to
Are
be
we
made.
waiting until light to stay
Waiting.
here and look at the thing?
Wanna wait?
Master compared, let us know.
We shall wait until the light anoints us.
All right.
That doesn't happen until like later.
3 hours. So, waiting it is. The coal's re-stoked to at least give some heat.
We
Everyone
all
sort
need
of,
to recover from that
yeah,
whatever that was.
just a lot of thinking needs to be done. And that's probably for the next hour and a half. As time continues further and further to the morning, you're getting to the point where the sun should be rising. It should be getting lighter. It's not. It continues to stay dark. Well past the 3-hour mark, into the 4 and 5. Creeping past what you would consider 8 a.m. Still, no sun. Not even a hint of it on the horizon, lighting up the sky in this open area that you can see of the sky. It stays dark.
This is bad.
Amric, it's at this moment in time that you look up into the sky and notice that the constellations you had seen prior are gone. No constellations reside in the sky. There are stars, but no constellations. No warnings, no insights, nothing. No moon. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
It's my fault, guys.
Bad.
I fucked up the timing. There's no twilight, no more dusk. It's over.
Alrighty, guys. So we will come back to that on Monday. Any questions before we go?
What the fuck?
Lots of fucks.
Just this session was just comedy.
This session was a hot mess. We got nothing done. We literally got not a single thing done.
Hey,
We talked to a bird.
Or we got like 3 things done and checked off that list, and we
You-
just have no idea
you
if we did.
definitely could check off the list of creating chaos
But-
inside an entire community.
Yeah, we're Child just destroyed avian society.
Single-handedly.
Or created a dictatorship that
There might
They
be some
thrive
interesting
in some
crossbreeds of birds happening now.
In order for us to survive, you must bring me all the food.
You're not a pelican? Look, right, mate, I am a pelican. Oh, okay, I guess we can mate then. Pelican mixed with a nightjar. That should be an interesting combo.
Oh, horrible.
Foghorn?
We're gonna have to like
Sounds like we
Oh.
just created a flying mandrake.
we're all gonna need to like call our respective gods and be like, yo,
Sorry.
the sun disappeared. What the fuck happened?
But
No.
with that, we'll be back on Monday. No RFI this weekend, but
Mhm.
Sunday is Group 2 at 9:30 PST. And if I don't see or talk to y'all before then, we'll see you back on Monday, 9 p.m. PST. You guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, come join us on Sunday. It's a shit show.
It is literally a shit
Literally.
show.
Compared to ours?
Yes.
Okay.
VOD, 30 minutes. That's all you gotta watch. Last 30 minutes.
Last 30 minutes.
I don't know if I want
Is
to.
Same here.
it as bad as like comparing with his little brother?
Yes.
Or-
Oh, yeah, it is actually.
Is it bad
Jeez.
about
Gonna
us teaching the
pass.
nightjar about women?
It
Worse.
was the most horrendous conversation I've had to. No, it's not the most, but it's up there.
But with that, you guys have a great night.
Good night.
Man.
Thank you for all that stayed with us. Have a great night. Sunday, 9:30 p.m. PST for Group 2, the bad decisions, and then Group 1 back on Monday, 9 p.m. PST. Guys have a great night. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.